That was such an abrupt ending. I feel like they needed to. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Screen Time Continuum. I am Nick, and I'm joined always by Keilyn. How you doing, man?
I'm well, man. I love doing this thing live, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna
I
be
love it.
warts and all for sure.
Did I not accurately call that really quick before we really get it? Like, I somehow called that.
Yeah. I figured that they would like the countdown would like end with a musical sort of like finish, but just went to end like
Just
one in the middle of the tune. So I was like, all right, well, there we go. Next time we'll try to be less fancy about it. But thank you so much, you guys, for listening. We are back Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Screen Time Continuum. You know what it is, and you know you've been waiting this whole week to have this discussion. I know since last week we teased you for a WandaVision episode. We said we were doing season 3 of Game of Thrones. It's finally here, ladies and gentlemen. Keilyn has watched it for the first time, and we're going to talk about it. But first, please consider leaving us a like and a subscription to our YouTube and our Facebook page, Screen Time Continuum, on both. We very much appreciate you. Please, if you feel like seeing the other work that we do, check out Keilyn's podcast, If Numbers Could Talk, Tuesdays at 6 p.m. And I do a little show called Exofathom, Monday and Friday nights at 8 p.m.
That's
So
a great
please,
listen.
Hey, thank you. And yours is good too. I was enjoying that Super Bowl episode you did yesterday, and that was great.
I appreciate it.
Of course. But other than that, we know what you came here for, so we're not going to tease you that much longer. Keilyn has just finished season 3 of Game of Thrones, and we're going to get into it. So let's just start talking about it, Keilyn. I'm going to let you sort of guide the conversation. I'm going to interject with all my nerdisms and random facts and trivia as much as I can. But Keilyn, just off the bat, what is going on in your head? If you had to wrap up season 3 in a sentence, what would you say?
If I had to wrap up season 3 in one sentence, I would start with just know this is only the beginning.
Just the beginning. It really is. Yeah.
It feels that way. It feels like it. It feels like as if I would actually know anything about this, but it feels like when there's a fresh flood or a fresh washout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't know what's happening next. There's so many people that's been removed from the storyline. Or so many people who's changed positions in the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I really feel is they didn't give me enough Arya Stark, but they gave me too much Arya Stark to not give me enough Arya Stark. Like,
oh yeah. I wonder. You know, she was one of the great characters. I think, like, you know, and anytime there's an Arya scene, I usually pay more attention just because I like her a lot, and especially in season 3, we're gonna see that she's changed up her companions a little bit. She's gone on a pretty wild ride, but I mean, do you want to just start talking with Arya first, or what?
Yeah. Let's just start here with Arya.
Okay.
I really like it, and we're gonna kind of end with Arya too.
Yeah,
but sure. I like everything that began and ended with Arya. Everything in between. It made a lot of the things from season 1 and season 2 make a lot more sense, if you ask me. In order to become the person Arya needs to be to fulfill her purpose, so to speak, she has to encounter a lot of different types of people, and none of them are highborn, as they call it, or they're not people in high places. That's cute. That's fancy. Yeah. But Arya has to see how the world actually works.
Yeah, and there are not very good people either. So
not at all.
That's kind of the journey she's on right now. So she's still with Gendry and her friend, right, in the Riverlands. They had escaped Harrenhal finally, and they basically run into the Brotherhood without banners, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so when they run into them, and so I thought that was interesting as well. So I immediately thought they're out to get them. Like, you know, they're going to try to turn them in, get some cash for them or some gold.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It seems like the entire Seven Kingdoms, not just the North, but the entire Seven Kingdoms has this reverence for Ned Stark,
Yeah.
and it's
Well,
so
also,
high.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, also Beric Dondarrion, the guy that gets resurrected,
Mm-hmm.
he was tasked by Ned Stark to go find the mountain and bring him to justice back when Ned Stark was alive. So in
Oh,
season 1, you see Beric Dondarrion. He's at the court, and
right.
Ned Stark tells him to go find the mountain and bring him to justice. And
I forgot
eventually,
about that part.
yeah, he kind of just like decides, change his priorities after Ned dies because there is no need for him to,
Go and die again.
yeah, to go and die 6 more times or whatever. He's been dead like 6 times.
Oh, maybe we should have started with the Lord of Light.
Yeah, right.
We'll get there. He's in a lot of the story right now. So, but Arya Stark, yeah. And so right with her, we go from there with the Brotherhood. Everything's working out. Then they find the Hound. Difficult character to follow. I don't really know what his point is. What is his purpose at this point? He's just roaming. I'm honestly, I know. Listen, I know what's going to happen with Clegane, with Sandor Clegane. He's going to run into his brother. He's going to probably end up killing his brother.
Okay,
that's it. I don't really know where else that's going.
Yeah, well, what we know for what the Hound is right now is that he left King's Landing after the Battle of the Blackwater, right? Because he's just decided, F the king, F the realm, I'm done with this. He tries to take Sansa with him, but Sansa doesn't want to go. And so he gets captured as well by the Brotherhood without banners, and that's where Arya sees him.
Right.
And the Hound points out that Arya is who she is. And that's when the Brotherhood without banners is like, oh, maybe we can get some money off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and I didn't really get the point of once they captured the Hound and she noticed, she's like, yo, hey, fellas, let's rock this way. Way,
Yeah, get rid of this guy.
Right. But what I didn't understand was what was his purpose of calling her out? Like, what are you doing with this Stark girl? Like, bro, you didn't have to say nothing about me at all. You could.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know exactly. Maybe he feels kind of like it's weird because it seems like the Hound sort of feels a little bit of softness for Sansa.
The Stark girls?
Yeah, the Stark girls specifically. And so maybe since he couldn't necessarily help Sansa, maybe he feels like, Arya is somebody that he might be able to help. Who knows?
No, definitely. I think he had just a level of respect for Ned that is unspoken.
Mm-hmm.
A guy of his talent, I'll say it that way, a guy of his talent and who utilized his talent in his way couldn't openly be friends with a guy like Ned Stark, but quietly would probably always want to be a guy like a Ned Stark.
Yeah, and I think there's too, it's like, the Hound was really just, shit on when he was in King's Landing with the Lannisters. Like nobody respected him, nobody liked him. And so I can see where it's
or they work for him,
Yeah, and I can see where it's like, well, Ned Stark probably wasn't a dick to him. At least Ned Stark was kind of like a normal guy in this weird world of King's Landing. And so maybe he's just like, yeah, he was at least, a killer, a decent man. Well, a killer, right? Because
they're all killers.
That's what he says to Arya, right? Does he say it in this season? Yeah.
No, maybe he says this. That's what he says to Sansa in season 2. When he's like, look around you, girl.
Yeah.
The world full of killers. Your father was a killer.
Your brother was a killer.
Your brother's a killer. Your other brother. Your brother.
Yeah. So you better get used to looking at them.
Right. I was like, but so what I really enjoy, and this is still about Arya, and that's the point with Arya that I was getting at is it seems like they run into the correct people to learn the lessons they need to.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we were talking last episode about Arya and her path. Each season is kind of with a different killer, right?
Exactly.
So the first season, Syriel Farrell is her mentor. He's a killer. Then in second season, she's got Jack and Hagar. He's obviously a killer. Right. And now she's kind of got the Brotherhood and the Hound going on, which are also killers. So
if this were mixed martial arts, she'd be like 5th degree black belt and at least 3 styles by now. What I mean? She working her way up the ladder right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's what I gather. That's what I gather from a lot of her interactions, the people she has to be around, the type of people. All of them are killers, but Serial Pharrell, someone who found the grace and the harmony in being a killer. Then you had Jorgen Hagar, Jagan Hagar. Jagan, another guy who he had his way of being a killer. He's a sleuth, so to speak, a ghost. Yeah. And then you have Sandor. I don't even want to call him the Hound anymore. I want to call him Sandor because I just dislike them continuously calling him dog. You saw in his face every time it was like,
for real with this? Yeah.
Like, I'm clearly the most
Well, and that's how illustrates my point is how nasty he was kind of treated in King's Landing by all of these, high-born people and all of that stuff. And he was just a killer. He was a mercenary. He was a blade for hire. And
yeah. But he's from a family of blades for hire. And that's the thing. It's like, this is what you were bred for, and that's how everyone saw it. But at the same time, I think that's why he and Arya and if I'm being honest, I think he's going to be the first person that Arya is stuck with for a while that's going to contribute to her actual character, like her as a person. I don't think we've yet to really get into who he is. And she's the first person to appeal to him as a human being.
Yeah.
Just by acknowledging. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just going to, and she's not afraid of him.
Oh, no, she's not afraid of shit. No.
Yeah.
I'm honestly waiting to see what Arya is afraid of. She hasn't been afraid of anything from the very beginning. Yeah. She's not afraid of any. And the only thing she is afraid of is not knowing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know if there's... Yeah, I don't necessarily know if there's a whole lot that she's afraid of. But so basically she gets kind of like... they have a trial by combat with the Mountain and Beric Dondarrion, right? Because... the Mountain has been captured by the Brotherhood Without Banners, and they're saying, well, your trial will be a trial by combat. And the Hound is like, oh, who are you? Who's going to fight me?
Who's going to fight, right.
Yeah, and Beric Dondarrion is like, it'll be me. And so they have this sword fight. Beric Dondarrion has the ability to light his sword on fire, which is like the Hound's worst nightmare, right?
The Lord of Lights, right?
Yeah.
Listen. I was like, so do they know he's afraid of fire? And I was like, oh no, they just praise the Lord of Light. Coincidence.
Yeah, right.
And I realized later that moment was more for Arya than anything else.
Yeah, definitely. And so they have a fight, and the Hound looks like he's going to lose. And then at the last minute, he splits Beric Dondarrion right in the shoulder,
right,
and chops him down. And Thoros of Myr, which is the red priest that Beric is with, does a little prayer over him. And when the camera pans back around to him, he's alive and well. He's doing okay.
Right. Getting, it's
just a little... just a flesh wound.
Jesus. Well, and so what I thought, so immediately, as soon as that happened, during that fight, I saw, Sandor or Clegane's just... He didn't seem to be as afraid of the fire. And not to say that he was losing his fear. What I mean is there's a difference between being caught off guard and he was already surrounded by the fire. So he already had to adjust to the fact, like, there's a lot of fire around here and you guys play with fire, so to speak. Yeah. Also, Beric, that was like something everybody knows. He has a flaming sword. Like, he's known for that. So I don't think he was, I think that's why he was able to fight through it that time, is he knew who he was fighting. And I think that's why when he said, you'll be fighting me, he had that immediately, like, like, why I gotta fight you though?
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't very happy about having to do it. But then, the Hound is also a very exceptional swordsman. So
he wasn't too much concerned with the sword play. That's my point though. I think he knew because like when they were speaking of it later, I can't remember exactly where that was. I think that was Tywin, but they were talking of the flaming sword of Beric, or somebody was already talking about that, and it was like, oh, okay, so people know that this guy.
Oh, it was It was Jorah when he's talking to Sir Barristan.
Jorah, you're
They're
right.
talking about one of the battles they were with, and they say, "Oh, Ben Beric Dondarrion with his flaming sword."
Flaming sword. Yeah, you're
yeah,
right. You're right.
yeah.
Yep. Which also makes me wonder, because they always talk about how that war, with the dragons and Aegon was 300 years, 3,000 years. It's like, does anybody know the real timeline? Because half of you guys were alive in that war.
No. The Aegon's conquest happened thousands of years ago, or actually probably 500, 600 years ago or something like that. But they're talking about the war is Robert's rebellion. When Robert,
the rebellion.
Yeah.
Okay, so
when
that's not a war.
Right. Well, when Robert Baratheon overthrew the Mad King,
Right.
Aerys Targaryen, I believe.
Not Aegon, Aerys Targaryen.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one who wanted to kill 250,000 people or half a million people.
Yeah, he wanted to burn all of King's Landing down. But yeah, so the Hound wins his trial by combat, and the Brotherhood basically is like, all right, well, you're good to go. Thanks for coming by, and have a nice day. And Arya is not happy about that.
Not having it.
She wants him dead. She wants him dead.
I love her prowess. So, and that again, that's the whole point with Arya is every single person, every single event, every single group that she comes into contact with. I think it's not just about the killing; it's about the understanding. Like everyone has their purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone or their reason. Everyone thinks that their reason is the right reason to kill. Some people call it murder. Some people call it sacrifice. Melisandre. And then some people call it fun. Clegane. And it's just it's something I think she's gonna have to understand before as we saw during that situation with her with the Brotherhood, and then Melisandre. Well, first they get to the first place, and Hot Pie is kind of left behind as a trinket or as a payment because he's such a good cook or a good baker.
He stays at the inn. Behind. Yeah, I think he's at the inn. I think that's the inn at the crossroads. I don't know.
I think it was something of that nature, right?
Yeah.
And so then, not even a week later, Melisandre shows up to the camp, which we'll get to her departing and all that later. But she shows up to the camp, and it's like, why is Melisandre here? Oh wait, because you all praise the Lord of the Light. Oh wait, y'all don't even know each other. What's Gendry got to do with this?
Right.
Oh shoot, she did say you're not the only one with your own blood to Stannis. Jesus, Baratheons.
Yep.
And it's like, if it were like, this is the only thing I keep thinking. Nobody had, they do get it already, Stannis and them, but it's like nobody's really thinking to themselves about Joffrey.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
well, everybody knows that Joffrey's not a Baratheon.
That's kind of my point. It's like I felt like as the season went on, that became more common. Like they even continued to call him a Lannister.
Yeah. Most people are under the understanding that he is in fact a Lannister, and they just like that was the whole reason.
Too afraid to say anything because of Tywin.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And so, I mean, Melisandre. What's weird to me is about this, like the king's blood sort of magic. So it's like, okay, so Gendry has king's blood because he's Robert Baratheon's bastard son, but the king is now a Lannister. So,
right.
I mean, like, so when is a king's blood king's blood? You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't really make any sense. Seems kind of arbitrary. It's like, like it is Joffrey's blood king's blood? I mean, he's technically a king, so
I'm like, I would think not, and I'm thinking what it is a appropriate succession. Like things are written a certain way, so we understand. When people believe things are pre-written in history, I think this is the era of the Baratheon family.
Hey, I guess, but they took it by force too. So it's like, okay, well, it was the Targaryen. It was the Targaryens before, so I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. Maybe it was already written for that to transfer. So even though, Robert and them, the Baratheons took it, it was written for the Baratheons to take it. Like that's just how things were going to play out because of the change of the seasons. The winter was going to go away, et cetera, et cetera. And then, but I get what you're saying, because at that point, would the change be, to the Lannister household because we know winter is coming.
Mhm.
But I see this is what I believe also. We'll get there, I'm sure, as the seasons go and as we talk about today. But I think that this era of winter coming is the era of the Stark family coming into succession. Problem is, the only Starks left by the end of this season are Jon Snow, who's technically not a Stark because he's a Snow, but by blood he's a Stark. Bran, Riddick, and the girls, Sansa and Arya.
Yeah, just the kids except for Rob. Yeah.
So it's like
the Stark family is kind of scattered right now, so it's yeah. There doesn't seem to be very much strength in the Stark family at this moment.
Right. And I'm gonna need Jon Snow to get together, but we'll get to Jon Snow.
Right. Well, anything we got else with Arya? She doesn't really have a whole lot. Yeah, she's got kind of not very much going on with her right now. She joins up with the Hound. Their plan is to go to the twins to give her over to Rob in exchange for money or whatever.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So they kind of just have this like buddy, like this buddy cop movie going on where it's like, the odd couple where, like she hates him and he's like, like a gruff, mean man, but still kind of has a heart,
That's hilarious.
So, yeah.
Kill me, girl. I'll give you one chance. Like, bruh, knock it off. Yeah. Like, little do you know, this one is capable of killing. You might want to stop playing.
And she does kill again in this season.
She kills. Yeah. In front of him. And even he's like, yo.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm in on the killing too, but.
Right. Yeah.
Really quick, before we move away from Arya, I thought that was. Yeah, I'm going to say it this way. That was kind of an adorable scene. The way he kind of looked at her like, what are you doing? But still let her go. Yeah. And then he kind of just lurked in the darkness like, shoot. Oh, wait. Man, you jumped in the deep end. Hold on. I got you. Don't worry about it. But,
right.
I thought that was really cool.
Which soldiers were they? Were they Lannister soldiers or? No,
they were.
It was just some soldiers in the woods that were camping, right?
Yeah, I think they were from the same camp. That because the one guy was talking about how he was a part of the group of guys who cut Rob's head off.
Okay.
And then stuck the wolf's head on his body.
Right.
Sorry early spoiler alert, guys. Apologize for that.
Spoiler alert.
But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's kind of where we are with Arya. As again, she kind of takes a back seat a little bit this season. So that's for Arya. Now, before we move on from Arya, or as we move on from Arya, I want to move to Bran. And I want to take a sidebar as we're moving into Bran and talk about the introduction of new creatures and abilities and elements that were just like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. First was in the Wildlings camp with Jon Snow at the very beginning. There was the giant. Yes.
And that had me like, oh, well, mind you, I'm watching TV and my eyes really good said, okay, so how's that gonna work?
Right.
Like, I thought there was gonna be a bigger role from that, so I'm expecting that to come back. And the wargs, that is amazing and takes me back to something I thought way back in season 1.
Yeah.
I seen it coming. I knew, but we're going to get there in about 2 minutes, maybe 3. Yeah. So with Bran, and so his little brother's name is Rickon. Yeah. Jeez, the whole day I've been trying to remember it. But the issue for me with remembering his name is he says like one thing a season.
Oh yeah, he's a very minor character. Yeah.
It's like we see him growing up the same way we see Bran growing up. Also, the character who plays Bran, his voice cracked by this season. It was like from season 2 to season 1. It was like
and he
Hey,
grew like a foot.
turn
Yeah.
the bass down.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, and he sprouted like a beanstalk.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty interesting because a lot of times when they're trying to maintain an image, they'll recast.
Right.
They'll recast, and they didn't do that. I thought that said a lot about one, his ability to maintain the character, but as well as just their dedication to, the giving these guys a chance.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
he didn't sound as helpless and as wimpy, but because of that, he sound more. I wouldn't call it intellectual or intrigued, but he sounded like he was much more interested. He sounded more interested. That's the word. He sounded like he really was trying to get into like, okay, what's going on with me? What's going on with the world around me? Like he was learning versus, just being curious and letting things happen to him.
Yeah, he started his he's on he is starting his own little hero's journey right now, right? So
Right.
he was originally going to go to the Wall to meet with Jon Snow. And then Osha and Rickon and Hodor and Bran kind of get bombarded, not bombarded, but they get visited in the woods by two children. One of them being the Reed family. So Jojen Reed is the boy, and then Mira is his sister. And Jojen has been looking for Bran apparently. And Jojen has dreams. He has green sight, so he has dreams of the future. And he basically
green sight. That's what they called it.
Yeah, it's called green sight. Yeah, to be able to see into the future. Okay. And so basically, he tells Bran like, "Okay, well, you can't go to the Wall because your destiny is to go beyond the Wall to meet this three-eyed raven that you keep thinking about." Yeah.
Right.
And so he kind of convinces Bran to go along, even though Osha's like, "You don't want to go beyond the Wall. It's awful." And I had a husband once, and when he went to war, he came back as a dead man, and I had to kill him myself. Right. So she doesn't want to go back to the Wall at all, or back beyond the Wall. She doesn't want anything to do with that. So
at all, like for real.
Yeah, she wants nothing to do with it. So. But they eventually, I guess, separate, right? They kind of like Osha decides to take Rick on, because it's just too dangerous. He's too young. And,
much down the line. It's so before we get there, it's really just happening, just the continuous. We know before Bran was having his dreams are getting worse. Now we find out Georgian also has dreams, and they're called wargs. Now they all have different abilities. We're figuring out that like you said, Georgian looks into the future. We know there's a warg in the wildlings that sees through the eye of the falcon or the eagle.
Yeah, so a warg is somebody who can put their consciousness into another living thing. Right. That's what a warg is. And so Jojen isn't a warg. He just has green sight, which is the ability to see into the future through dreams.
What? See, look at me learning. And I'm not even watching the show. And I learned that.
There's tons.
That was the same thing.
Yeah, there's tons of different types of magical abilities.
I'm gathering that. Oh gosh, I'm gathering that. So by saying that, what I'm very curious of is the fact of the seizures that were induced of Georgian when he was having his night dreams, whatever we call them. But I thought the induction of epilepsy or of seizures there was incredible because of the hyper brain activity that's happening for him to be able to do that while he's in his sleep.
Yeah,
it was almost like spot on. It's like, what else could happen? Yeah, as a side effect of this, what else would you say besides a seizure? And then having, the same way that people today still kind of deal with it. Hey, bite down on this strap, breathe, relax. Yeah. The same. It was.
You'll get through it. Yeah.
It was one of those put you in the moments, like put you on the screen with them moments. And I wouldn't say I appreciate it because I myself have never had a seizure. I would not like to experience that, but I know plenty of people who have, and no one has ever said it's a fun ride.
No, certainly not. Yeah.
So I never want to push that in any way. But just for them to be able to utilize, however, the use of the understanding of what a seizure is and how they come on,
Yeah.
or how they're understood to come on, and utilize that in the script appropriately. I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what else happens with Bran? So he's
Oh wow!
yeah.
What do you mean? What else happens with Bran?
Honestly, I can't remember. Bran is one of those characters that I just forget about most of the time.
So as we're going with Bran and they're getting through the travel, there becomes a point where Osha feels like Bran and Jordan are getting too close, and her and Mira aren't really feeling it. Bran kind of flexes his teenager voice, like, "Hey, I want you guys to be friends and make peace."
Yeah.
Like, boy, if you don't.
Yeah.
I thought Osha was really about to be like, "Shut up," but she didn't. She respected it.
She should have. I mean, honestly, she was charged with making sure that they were safe, and
you're the adult here.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I do not like Jojen or Mira. I think that they're snot-nosed brats that just kind of like took Bran by the nose and was like, "Okay, come with us now because we have an idea." Yeah, like we have a crazy idea about going north of the wall to see some three-eyed raven that we have no idea what it is.
What it is right now is Osha is that single mom with her kids, and her oldest kid just met new friends from up the block. Right. That block that she told him not to go to, but he met them anyway because somehow they were on a different block than they usually are, and now that's his friend. That's his group.
Yeah. He made. He's got bad kid friends now.
Right, exactly. And what gets crazy to me was it got so bad between her not wanting to speak to anybody. She's trying to hold a full-on discussion with Hodor, like, "Oh, so he doesn't talk to me anymore. He just talks to her." And whatever. Does he talk to you, Hodor?
Yeah.
Like, bro, Hodor.
I'm here to push him around. That's it.
Hodor.
Yeah.
Hodor.
Right. I don't know how much conversing you can have with the gentle giant Hodor, but
got you covered. Hodor.
Pretty much, yeah.
That moment had me. I was crying, laughing. Like, did she really try that?
Yeah, what do you expect? Right.
But so as they even move through that though. Oh wait, I'm sorry. You were about to say something.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. So as we move past that, they kind of figure it out, make up a little, and then they're off in the tower during the thunderstorm. And Hodor is freaking out because he doesn't like thunderstorms. And I don't blame you, Hodor.
Although it's like, how many times have you, I'm like, you got to have heard a thunderstorm before, Hodor. Is this the first time you've ever heard thunder before?
Hey, man, like, you don't control what scares you.
Right.
Turn all the lights out in your house at 3:00 in the morning, and all of a sudden you hear a crick on the floor like something's walking.
It would have been one thing if it was the dire wolves that were freaking out, but it was like, all right,
the dire wolves were not freaking out.
No, they were chill. Yeah.
Hodor.
Yeah.
So Hodor's screaming at the top of his lungs, screaming Hodor. I thought he was actually, I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was finally gonna say something other than Hodor.
No.
Or at least just a regular scream. No, just Hodor. And eventually Bran gets so emotionally frustrated trying to convince Hodor to calm down. He's now inside Hodor's brain, calming Hodor down.
Yeah, well, it happens because there's some commotion outside of the tower, and they don't want to get found, but Hodor is making a ton of noise, and they're about to get found out. And what we find out is that it's the wildlings with Jon that's outside of the tower, and they're about to execute a horse, like a horse farmer or whatever.
Right.
And so they want to be as quiet as possible, and then Bran freaks out, and he's like, that's when you see him warg into Hodor, which is apparently a very rare thing for a warg to be able to do is warg into a human. So that becomes a thing. Yeah.
I'm curious how rare it honestly is, because we're hearing this from another kid. He ain't old enough to know how to, listen.
Well, I think it's too, like Hodor's mind is obviously not the strongest mind in the world, so it's probably a little bit easier for him to warg into somebody like Hodor than maybe like that. Like I don't know if he could warg into just like a
like Osha's mind or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure Osha's mind is the north.
Yeah, right.
Like it is north of the wall for sure.
Yeah.
So moving from there, a little into it, they figure out, hey, the best thing to do is Bran's gonna go with Georgian and Mira, and do they take Hodor, right?
Yeah, Hodor comes because he's the wheelchair,
right? Because by then they get we'll get there. So as they travel out, and then Osha's gonna go back to with Rickon. She's taking him for whom to raise him again?
She's going to the Umbers, which is the nearest. It's like the nearest holdfast from where they are. So it's basically like she wants to go and take him to the Umbers so that at least they can take care of him because they have an allegiance to the Starks. So
okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of it. That's all we see of Osha.
That's it. Yeah, Osha and Rickon are out.
Yeah.
Well, and that's honestly, I think that's the end of Bran and Georgian and Mira and Hodor as well.
Well, they do make it to the wall, right? They make it to the wall.
They do make it to the wall, and they're at Castle Black, but no one's there.
But then they run into Sam.
I wasn't going to get there yet, but that's great. Wow, no, but no. That's a great direction to go because there's nothing else to get to with Bran. So right, they get to Sam.
So the end of Sam's last season, he was running, the beginning of this season, right? He's running in the snow, right?
Yeah. So the beginning of this season comes in. We open the season. We open the season with Samuel Tarly, and damn it, Tarly. I'm sorry, bro. So we open the season with Samuel Tarly, and Sam is running through the snow. We ended season 2 with Sam seeing the army of the
army of the dead.
I was about to say, they called the army of the whites. I felt like that was not the. I was like, nah, they didn't push that line. They wouldn't have said that one.
The White Walkers, yeah.
Army of the White Walkers, but army of the whites. I'm like, I knew that was.
Yeah,
that was the wrong answer on Jeopardy for sure.
Right.
So so we end with him seeing them and the leading captain, and they let him live.
Yeah.
We open the season with Sam still running through the snow, getting back to where Mormont and the boys are, and Ghost. Well, first he runs up on a guy thinking it's one of the fellas, one of the crows. Mm-hmm. Dude's dead. He's holding his own head. We've seen at the very beginning that is how the White Walkers send a message to other warriors. Hey, just know we've been here.
Yeah.
And it's on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ghost saves Sam from a white.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Ghost Ghost is pretty handy.
Super handy. And he's with Commander Mormont.
Yeah.
And that's where we start with Sam and Commander Mormont. And what gets me is this. Mormont only asks Sam one question. Everybody else knows everything going on. He pulls him to the side. He even asks him kind of like on the low, like give him a chance to, hey, so
did you send the Raven?
You send the Ravens?
Yeah. The one thing we need you to do.
It's like, no, Sam.
Yeah.
Did you send the Ravens?
Right.
But Sam.
Doesn't matter, man. Send the damn Ravens.
Did you send the Ravens? And this is Sam.
I forgot.
It was like, Sam.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah. Well, it's not the last time he's going to bungle something.
It's not. But that's honestly, if I'm being honest, this is what I love about Sam. And it's why Sam is Sam. Like without Sam and his multiple mess ups and his rapscallion type antics, he wouldn't even be a good character.
Yeah.
If he did all the things he did and didn't mess up at the same time, he'd just be like that normal stick in the mud, kind of save the day type of guy, but without the daring good looks that they give most heroes, you know?
Yeah, Sam's kind of like the everyman for this.
Exactly.
Like he's kind of like the audience where it's like I can't fight. I can't swing a sword. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I can't fight ice zombies. Like, so it's kind of like we get to live through Sam as an audience because it's like we can't relate to any of these heroes, that are doing these heroic things and sacrificing themselves and stuff. But then you got Sam who's like, can't swing a sword, can't fight, can't really do much, but can read and, likes books,
Hey,
and,
that reading is coming in real handy for Sam Tarley.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
coming in handy for plenty. Listen, if he hadn't told them, nobody knew what that third horn meant.
Yeah.
If he didn't say nothing, nobody knew what that third horn meant.
That's true.
So Sam is with the group and they go back to Craster's. And at this point, they got to get to Craster's at minimum because they can't station up anywhere. There's no caves.
Yeah, they got to get back to Castle Black. They've been out for too long.
They've been out for way too long. Yeah. They get back to Craster. Craster is Craster. Craster is Craster. I don't really know how else to explain that Craster is Craster.
He's the worst.
And rightfully so, the guys in a millennial fashion, in real millennial fashion.
Real millennial way.
They're just tired of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not really mad at them for being tired of it. Listen, bro, you're eating the entire pig. Just you. Oh, I gotta feed me and my wives, my daughter wives. And listen.
Well, and what did you think, man? You let 30 men come to your, little house, and they're all hungry, and you're the only person. You're the only dude there.
The only dude there.
And you have all the food and all the wine, and you think that they're gonna just like let you have that stuff?
And you're just drunk and angry, bro. You're not even dangerous anymore.
No,
you're just drunk and angry. So. I don't remember this particular guy's name because I did not like his character, but I feel like his little rally speech in the group of the fellas, letting them know like, yo, Craster's eating up all the food, and I feel like that really spurned the rebellion.
The one that called him like a prick, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so then by him doing that, one of the other guys finally speaks up like, you know what, like you ain't no king, you ain't this, like. You just use an asshole. Like forget you. Yeah. So, Mormont being the commander, trying to be the commander. Hey, I'm the commander. This is what we're not gonna do.
Yeah.
We snatch the other boy up, try to take him out. The other dudes start popping fly. Like, look, boom, boom, boom. Craster, what you gonna do? Straight to the throat. Oh. Did we just kill Craster?
Oh yeah.
We just killed Craster.
Yeah, that was it.
And I thought we were going to be fine. I really thought we were going to be fine killing Craster. Here's where the issue came. I don't think the issue was killing Craster. The issue wasn't killing Craster. The issue was killing Mormont.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's when they screwed up because, maybe Mormont would have, they probably would have been executed though, to be honest. Like, Craster, like them killing Craster, like, they had to kind of kill Mormont because Mormont would have just taken them back to Castle Black and chopped their heads off. So, at that point, you got to just do the whole thing, or else
it's just a wrap.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I don't think there was a right or a wrong way. Craster had to go, though. Craster had to go. He would have given up all of humanity to the White Walkers if it meant he could sit there and do all the nasty crap he was doing. He had no problem with that.
No, that's true. I agree. Yeah, Craster definitely did have to go. He was a problem, and we find out that what's her name, Ginny? What is it?
Gilly.
Gilly. There you go, Gilly.
And I only remember her. Never mind. I'm not going to say where I remember her name.
Yeah, the bland character. She's pregnant and she has a boy, right? So we find out from previous seasons that Craster gives the boys to the White Walkers as a sacrifice. So
right. Now, do you think they have a taste for Craster blood, or it's just babies they're attracted to?
I don't know if you've seen
a little bit of both
yet.
Don't say it then, because I haven't.
Okay.
If you have to think about it, I can guarantee you I haven't seen it yet.
I feel like but like
at the beginning, when they pick the baby up out of the snow.
Yeah,
I saw that, but that doesn't explain if they have a taste for Craster. That's why I asked: do they have a taste for Craster baby blood, or is it just baby boys in general?
I don't know if there's like a distinction. I just know that there's a use that they're using the babies for, but I don't know if you know that yet. I feel like you should.
Blood magic or something.
Well, it's I feel like you should know. I feel like they already kind of explained it, but maybe they didn't. But it's not necessarily a big spoiler. It's just that they used the boys to create more White Walkers.
No, that makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That's what I figure. I figured they kill them and then they're able to use their bodies to resurrect a new form.
Oh no, they don't make them whites. They actually turn them into the
that's
White
what I mean.
Walkers.
I figured they have to kill the baby and then they're able to use the body, the host, to
They
now
don't,
create a new.
they don't even have to kill it. They just apparently, and you know what? This is when you're gonna see the Night King. So sorry, I did blow the load a little bit early, but it's not a spoiler for anything. But you see that he's able to touch the baby, and it turns the baby into a white.
Oh, he's like the King Midas of assholes.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, but that's not a huge spoiler because it doesn't really come up again. So
Cool deal. Yeah. So with Sam, while Sam and the boys were out right before the White Walkers hit, they discovered some dragon ice. That came in really handy a little later because Sam and Gilly, after all, everything goes. Sam goes, he snatches up Gilly. He's like, we got to go. And she's like, oh, but what about no, we have to go now.
Yeah.
And that is the first time where you saw Sam Tarly like, oh, now you can defend yourself. Now you got a little something in you, huh?
Yeah. He knows when to turn it on. That's for sure.
It's always when they get a new woman. And I'm like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now that he has something to prove.
Right.
Yeah.
So once he grabs her and they head out, they've survived for a minute on their own.
Yeah.
And then that's where we get to
they're on their way back to Castle Black.
Yeah. Right. They're on their way back to Castle Black and they find the cabin.
Yes.
And they're hosted up in the cabin. And first off, there's a tree with a face.
Yeah, the weirwood. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So that's going to make sense later.
Oh, yeah, but it was in season. So you remember Winterfell when Ned Stark is sitting in front of that tree? But
that one didn't have a face.
It did. Yeah, it did. But you just
Great Grandmother Willow type tree.
Yeah.
Because it looked just like Great Grandmother Willow, but I didn't see a face on that one. Maybe it's
so those are without spoiling anything, which I won't. The little bit of the lore about the trees is that those were part of the old gods. They were some of the old gods.
Yeah, that was explained when
I think season 1.
Season 1 exactly.
Yeah.
So once they get all of that going, and you go from once you get all of that. And you just figure, okay, what's Sam going to do? He has this dragon ice. What's up with this tree face? Oh, God, the ravens, the buildup of the ravens. So that was something else.
Oh, yeah.
It made me wonder not so much about wargs, but about the spiritual connection between the White Walkers and the animals, because a White Walker is just a slab of ice that's sentient. I figured that much already, Sam remembers he has the black ice and he's able to get behind the White Walker after it smacks him up a little and he stabs it and it kills him or it kills it. What I don't understand, did he not leave the dragon ice laying there and they ran away?
Yeah,
I know I saw what I saw.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Okay. Not going to bring that up again. Just wanted to make sure that my eyes didn't deceive me.
And it actually won't even come up again, to be honest.
Oh, I know. I wonder how I know.
Yeah.
Oh, that irritated me so bad. Like I have literally, when I was doing my notes and stuff and going back, and I remember I was like, I really wrote in my notes on probably like 4 lines, like big old kindergartner. Damn it, Tarly.
Yeah.
So,
but he also gives some dragon glass to Bran.
Well, it's right. So a little later, when they get caught in the cabin. Brandon and them are in the cabin, right as they're about to split up, they hear a little bit of noise, and next thing you know, Sam falls through the top of the cabin, or the storage deck, I guess.
I think
in those days,
underneath.
that's what I was thinking.
It was like a passageway or something. I don't know.
Something was going on. Yeah. But so he was able to come through. They found each other, and they kind of square off. When he sees Bran's direwolf, he knows immediately who Bran is. He tells Bran he knows who he is, and everybody kind of calms down a little bit. So that's when, once they are all explaining, hey, we're leaving, we're going here, we're going here, we're going here. And he's like, well, you're supposed to be going to your brother, and your brother's, well, he ain't nobody at Castle Black. Castle Black's empty.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, well, if you guys are going to go north of the wall, here's this. This is Dragon Ice. This kills White Walkers. Way to do what?
Yeah.
That I love. Everybody kind of had that like, what'd you say, Fat Boy? I don't.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
because
sorry. I don't know if
they
you
have
say that anymore. But
yeah, no, they have no clue about what the heck is going on north of the wall. So
they
it's like
really
they just
gave
think
him that disrespectful. Like, what are you talking?
they think they're just going for a walk. You know what I mean? Like
We're going bird watching.
Yeah. Even though OSHA's been saying for the past whole season, don't go north of the wall. You don't want to go there. It's terrible.
Man. Hey, who is OSHA? What does she know?
Right.
Older lady.
Mm-hmm.
What are they, like 12? So she's probably like 27. She's old
probably.
as
heck. Ancient by now. Yeah.
So yeah, man, it just got kind of nuts from there. He gives out the Dragon Ice, and that's where we last see pretty much. And then they go to Castle Black, but that's really where we last end with Bran, Rickon, OSHA, the Reeds, and Sam and Gilly.
Yeah.
And Sam and Gilly. Oh, I'm sorry. Sam and Gilly. Because at Castle Black, Sam takes Gilly to meet Meister Meister Aemon, the real last Targaryen. But I guess so. Is he not a dragon?
No, I guess he didn't inherit the dragon quality.
He's blind for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they go to him, and he kind of like, gives him a hard time, but he essentially like, all right, do this. Hey, Sam, you remember your vows, right? Yeah. Oh, that's not my kid. And Sam's sitting there like, listen here, player. I know I know what I said, but we supposed to be protecting all realms. That's all men in all realms. That's everybody, right? She's a part of that.
Right.
Oh, that's what happens when you're well read. You're a little smarter than everybody, huh?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
you have a little more compassion and empathy as well.
You can use rhetoric against them. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And so that really plays out and works out for everybody on that front. So from there, we can go to Jon Snow. Jon Snow. And no, I'm sorry.
There's many characters, man. We've only glazed over like minor characters at this point.
Right, and I'm gonna hit like 2 more minor characters, then we can hit some Jon Snows and Robb Starks and the Lannisters. The
Lannisters and Jaime
the Tyrells.
And Brienne and the Tyrells. And, yeah. There's a lot to do.
So what else goes on? So from there we go. Sir Davos is home, and I want to say this: Sir Davos has some really good friends.
Yeah,
Sir Davos is not one of his good friends.
Salvador Sand is a nice guy.
Man, Salvador took all his time, sent his men's out, not his people, his mans them. Hey, if he don't serve Stannis Baratheon, kill him.
Yep, pretty much.
Who do you serve? The one true king.
Yeah. They have that moment where it's like, all right, which one is it? There's 5 of them.
Right, exactly. Stannis Baratheon.
Stannis
Baratheon. Like he said, he went from the one true king to Stannis Baratheon.
Yeah. You gotta be careful who you back in these parts.
These parts, right?
Yeah.
So from that point, he's talking to his boy. His boy's like, yo, go home to your wife. And if you don't go home to your wife, I'm gonna make sure that when you die, I get your bones and I put them in a bag for her to wear around her neck. And he goes back to Stannis.
Of course.
Which at first I didn't get. But as the season went on, because initially Stannis is clearly he's shell shocked still.
Yeah,
he's having cabin fever. He's being held captive by Melisandre.
Yeah,
and he lost, so he's feeling like I don't know somebody's president. After losing an election, maybe they're not gonna go home or sit down so easily.
Yeah, totally.
Don't know. So Stannis ain't feeling it. He don't like you bad mouthing his new woman, and he shows his boy. Sir Davos at the end of the day is his best friend. It's probably the only friend he has left, if not the only friend he's ever had.
Yeah, truly. And it's a friend that'll actually call you out on your stuff.
That's a real friend, if ever.
Yeah.
So what I loved about it was he was just straight up. He's like, yeah, nah, you my enemy. I'm not your enemy, Sir Davos. Was I out there? Did I? No, you're my enemy. I don't have to explain it. You're my enemy.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So
he does not like her.
He does. And I like the fact that he's so, like, no matter what, there was the point where, pause.
Yeah.
Stannis doesn't like the way Sir Davos is approaching and speaking to Melisandre, and then at a point he actually tries to kill her.
Yes.
And Stannis is like, yo, lock your boy up.
Yeah.
Sit buddy down, right?
Yeah.
Sit buddy down. Put him in the timeout box. It's time for lunch. And he's down there for a while. He goes through his thing, finds out he has a really deep and close relationship with Stannis' daughter, which I don't know. What is going on with Stannis' daughter's face? Is that reptile skin or stone?
Shireen Baratheon has grayscale. Grayscale is a disease in Westeros in which, if not treated, which actually she's like one of the only people that's ever been treated for grayscale. It basically consumes your entire body and then it turns into like stone. Wow. So you basically like turn to stone.
That's a real disease too.
Yeah, it's kind of like they have that sort of like that wart disease where you can grow like a whole bunch of like really hard warts on your body. Yeah. So it's kind of similar to that, but it's very contagious and it's very dangerous, and it moves really quickly. So she was actually a kind of like a medical marvel in Westeros because nobody's ever really cured grayscale like that before, and she's like the only one. Because what happens is you usually go crazy, and it makes you go crazy, and you turn into like a zombie, like a stone zombie. Yeah. So
maybe is it the king's blood and her father being the warrior of light that saved her?
No, but I think the story is that somebody from like the Essos came and helped like heal her. Yeah. And so like she was, because he was, obviously he's a lord. So he had all the resources to find people from all over the world in order to help heal her. And so one person was finally able to heal her before it took her entire body. But she still has that little bit on her face because that's where it was growing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I had to ask that because I knew you would know the answer.
Yeah.
And so the thing with she and Davos is their relationship spurns him into learning to read.
Yeah.
Because she finds out, wait, first off, why is my best friend in the dungeon, Daddy?
Right.
Daddy, why'd you lock my friend in the dungeon? He's supposed to be your friend too, Daddy. Yeah. Why would you lock our friend in the dungeon, Daddy? And so she goes down there. She starts talking to him. Finds out he can't even read. And this sweet, innocent, marvelous little lady.
Yeah.
She goes and she starts teaching Sir Davos, Sir Onion Knight, how to read.
Yeah, that's very sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, that's heartwarming.
And I think that's one of the reasons that he goes back to, because like he lost his son in the Blackwater.
Yeah.
And so now Shireen is like the only child that is in his life, Yeah. So I think
losing his son, that's a different.
Yeah, that was rough. And it kind of glosses over that whole thing. Like, I
think he kind of has to.
He doesn't really have a choice. He just has to keep on going. And then my son is dead. Damn.
Right. So from there, Davos is learning how to read. Davos is really making headway. But what gets me is when Melisandre has Gendry now, which we've discussed already.
Yes.
She tells Davos who Gendry is, why she has Gendry. She tells Gendry who Gendry is, but not why she came to get him. Yeah. And her plan is to sacrifice Gendry.
Yes.
I knew something was going on with Stannis when Stannis goes to Davos to consult him. Yeah. And it's like, wait, you don't have to consult him. There's no reason to consult him. He's not on your council or anything anymore, right?
Well,
he even makes
yeah.
that point a little later when he tells him, oh, well, take him away. I order the death of him. Well, okay, you could order my death, but since how you haven't denounced me as your hand, I'm still here to
I'll advise
consult
you
you
against it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll advise you against it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, and I think he did that too because he told Davos about Gendry, and I think Stannis knew that Davos was going to try to save him.
Exactly. Well, and that's the whole point is he knew exactly what Davos was going to do. He gave Davos all of the room to do it.
Yeah.
And to add to that, he knew that Davos was the one person that one could do what he couldn't because he didn't have the heart to do that to Melisandre.
Right.
But he knew he had a right hand, the hand of the king, who would.
Yes.
And I think that is the whole point of their relationship. It's like, yeah, you're the king, but you're a real king. You can only do so much. Like that's the point of the Hound. A king is a king, but not all kings were Robert.
Yeah. Well, Robert said, right, that was Jaime.
Right. Yeah. Jaime said
the king shits and the hand wipes, right? So
right.
The hand is always doing most of the work for the
hand. Yeah. The hand is the king. I think about the hand the same way I look at in real life. The Secretary of Defense.
Right.
People always ask, why is it the Secretary of Defense? Sidebar, guys. People ask, why is it the Secretary of Defense is the one who comes into power after the president and the vice president? Well, the explanation is perfect. Like for me, it makes perfect sense. In most countries, most non-democratic countries, in fact, the leader of a country is usually the leader of their military. So when you look at that, aside from democratic countries, in democratic countries, the only 2, maybe 3 people above them are the executive branches. That's why because who else has the power to make those type of calls?
Right. Yeah.
And that's what the hand is. The hand is like the general.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas I don't think anybody ever says this out loud, but that's where the Meister, in all respects, the Meister is the vice president.
Yeah. In some ways, some maesters are, and then some maesters aren't. It just depends.
But Pycelle plays that role a little better.
Oh yeah. Well, Pycelle is a kiss ass, and he's been trying to be in power this whole time. So
like 67 years. Jeez.
Yeah. So so where are we at with Davos? Does Davos? He basically in the dungeon most of the time, right?
Correct. So with Davos being in straight, well, I wouldn't say most of the time. Most 7. I'd say 5. 50% of the time he's in the dungeon. 2 episodes he's totally free, and then the last 5 episodes that I'm talking about, he's back and forth. He's either standing there getting carried off to the dungeon, getting brought back from the dungeon, or being jerked around in some way.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much where Davos ends, though. Is Davos is sitting there, he's trying to talk some sense into his boy, and ends up being able to set Gendry free.
Yes.
By way of that. However, he also discovers at the end a letter that he gives to Stannis. Stannis reads it. He hands that off to Melisandre, and they see that the real war is not the war of the 5 kings, but the war on the northern side of the wall. We will tell you what that letter said a little later. We kind of alluded to it already. Yeah. And so I'll let you choose the next character.
Yeah, well, I think Stannis is kind of good to wrap up that end up with too. So he's in Dragonstone. We already kind of covered most of Stannis, but I just wanted to talk about one little thing, which is what he did with Gendry's blood, right? So he used Melisandre basically has sex with Gendry and then uses leeches to extract his blood. And
well, I wouldn't say she has sex with Gendry as much as she gets him right. She gets him all hot and bothered, and then she ties him up and leeches him.
Yes.
And let me say this. Cool. I like that Gendry, when he made sense, when he was talking to Davos, he made it very clear as to why he fell for that. He's like, bro, I've never been with a woman. I'm pretty much thinking I'm about to die. You have this beautiful woman naked, speaking big words to me. What would you have done if you were me?
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's like, okay, Melisandre can stop getting naked every time. It's like, really? Is sex that's your best weapon? That's
Oh
your
yeah,
best weapon?
yeah. It
Jesus
works.
Christ, woman. I mean, it works. It works. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm in 2021. I have the benefit of saying I would never, but I
she
don't have the
she
benefit.
she does all right for herself. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm in 2021.
Yeah. Well, so Stannis then uses the leeches that Melisandre uses on Gendry to extract his blood to throw into a cairn or a fire pit, basically. And he speaks the name of Joffrey Baratheon or Lannister. I don't know if he says Baratheon.
Yeah, I was trying to figure the same thing out. I don't remember either.
Maybe he says Baratheon, but then he says Robb Stark and Balon Greyjoy, which is Theon's father.
Theon's father, yeah.
And so those are the people that he's trying to use this magic in order to eliminate, basically. Coincidentally, he got one off of the list at least. So
kind of too.
Yeah.
Kind of.
We'll see. But there's not much more with Stannis, I don't think, right? He's just kind of on Dragonstone, and they're kind of like, and so they decide that they're going to head to the north, right?
Right. Well, there's one thing with Stannis's situation, which is Stannis's wife. So Stannis goes to see his wife, and she's like, "Oh, the Lady Melisandre came to see me," and they have their little cahooty situation going, or situation, excuse me. They have their cahooting situation going, and I'm just under the impression that she is hypnotizing people as well. Melisandre, like kind of like a succubus.
Well, she's also like Stannis's wife is a religious zealot too. So like she is very much she's very much like religious about the Lord of Light. So a priestess of the Lord of Light can do whatever she wants to her husband because like she's a servant of the Lord. So
she was praying to the fire cauldron. You're correct.
Yeah.
But can you explain to me what was up with the alien tanks?
Oh, the aborted fetuses. Yeah.
I was trying to figure. I was like, were those abortions or?
Yeah, well, they're her miscarriages. So I guess she tried to have a son for Stannis like 4 times. And each one of them became a miscarriage. So
looking like a scene on an Alien.
Yeah, that adds to probably a little bit of her mindset too. That she's unable to bear a son for her husband, and so she feels inadequate about that. And she obviously doesn't like her daughter very much at all. So which is pretty rough. It's like. He's like, basically, the first thing he says to his wife is like, "Where is she? I want to see her." And he's like,
"Oh, you're here for her.
You don't even. Why would you want to see her? Like,
man, that blew me when I realized she was talking about their daughter. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Does not like the daughter, but I think that's good for Stannis, right? We're good.
We're good on Stannis. Man, what else after Stannis?
I think I can briefly. Let's briefly discuss Sansa too, because I feel like Sansa is good. Or maybe let's do Jaime and Brienne. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm thinking
that's its own like separate kind of. That's a separate, non-intertwined sort of story arc going.
Correct. Yeah, I think that one really. Jaime, Brienne, and then Theon. I think if we get those 3 out, then the chunk is all. That's all in one setting.
Yeah.
So, Jaime and Brienne. No, but
yes. The bear, and the maiden fair.
Man, oh man. Right, because that's when that really episode 7, y'all.
Literally.
Episode 7. So where do we start? Where were they at this point?
So Brienne's been charged by Catelyn to take Jaime Lannister back to King's Landing.
Yeah.
But they get intercepted along the way because Jaime tries to fight Brienne. And
right.
Yeah.
Well, so really quick before we get that, I don't know. Jaime started kind of having this notion where he was being reasonable with Brienne. Like he was being extreme right before he did this anyway. And at first I thought like, okay, he's doing this because he was trying to get her to let her guard down, and he thought it worked.
Yeah.
Then, he lures her out. They have a mini sword fight or a sword fight where you can tell he was impressed.
Yeah, well, and he was also incredibly weak, and Brienne just playing with him at that point. Like,
right, but that's when he realized that she wasn't trying, and I think that's what made him impressed. Like, wait, you're playing with me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, crap. Like, you could really kill me right now. Like, you can really kill me. And so they're joking around, but what I was saying is, he was being really straightforward. Like, hey, don't let the guy live. It's likely he's gonna snitch and tell somebody he saw me. Yeah. Oh, nobody knows you. Guy comes back, and then that's when they get roosted, and it's like, oh, hey, I know you. I don't know you, but you have him, so now I know. I have an idea of who you are. And all right, y'all two come with me. Y'all two come with me.
Yeah.
And
so they get captured by Locke, who is one of the Bolton's men.
Right.
And so, yes, they basically take them back to, I think they're at the Dreadfort. I don't know which.
I can't tell which. Yeah, I couldn't figure that out either. Yeah. Well, what I did know was in the camp before they got back, when the hacking happened. So they had them both tied up, and there was a point where the boys, I ain't gonna call it a gentleman, the boys, they were trying to take Brienne's goods, which I didn't. Bro, first off, to take it, really?
Yeah, it's gross.
Second off, not gonna go there. So
I'm pretty sure she could throttle all of them with her
1,000%. 1,000%. That was kind of my get, like, bro. If all you got to do is unbound her hands, right?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you really don't have to unbound her hands. But if you unbound her hands, she's gonna murder all of you guys with her bare hands. She doesn't need a blade.
Pretty much, yeah.
But hey, you keep playing with her if you want to.
I guess so.
So, I like how Jamie you can tell he found a soft spot for her. And I don't know if it was as much honor and duty as he kept trying to play it off as. I think he really took to her, or she really took to him.
Yeah.
And he starts to kind of speak for her honor and the amount of sapphires, which are, gems, blue shiny gems, and kind of saves her from being raped, which I thought was really cool.
Well,
but then he overplays his hand. Well,
he lies to the guy saying like, oh, she's Brianna Tarth. You know what they call Tarth? They call it the Sapphire Isles. Right. Do you know why they call it the Sapphire Isles? Because it has all of the sapphires in Westeros. And I'm sure her father would give you all of the sapphires to return her, which, we find out later is a lie, because Brienne's like, well, they name it the Sapphire Isle because of the color of the water.
Blue.
Yeah. So
all that the eyes can't see. How you give me something you don't even own?
Yeah. So he starts kind of sweet talking Locke, and it seems like it's going well, because they put Brienne back. They let her, they don't, assault her much more. And then Jamie's kind of sweet talking Locke, and he's like, if I could put in a good word for you with my father, and you'd be making a lot of money if you just let us go. And Locke pretends like he's like, oh yeah, that sounds great. Maybe we should, and then Jamie's like, him. Yeah, and Jamie's like, I would much prefer these chains off if you don't mind. And they're like, well, get him, take off his chains and give him something to eat. And for a moment there, it's like, damn, he just really talked his way out of capture. Like,
I thought so.
Yeah, but then you find out that Locke has other things on his mind. And he takes Jamie over to the campfire and puts him in front of a stump and throws his hand right on the stump and just chops it right off.
Cool, man. Maybe this will help you remember that your words, you ain't the smartest man ever. Like, geez. I thought that was gnarly.
Oh, yeah.
No, and it was swift. It wasn't one of those nasty, messy.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna chuck it.
Yeah. Nah, he got straight to it. Yeah. And so we move from there after Jamie's had his hand removed. Then they get to the camp. I don't want any painkiller, and I think he was just afraid they were going to try to kill him.
Well, they make him wear his hands around his neck.
For a while, they make him wear his hand
and make him drink horse piss, which is
I forgot about that part.
Yeah, so they're taking them to Roose Bolton, and they do not treat Jamie very well during that trip. And so by the time they get to Roose Bolton's a little bit pissed because he sees what bad shape Jaime's in. And Roose isn't a stupid guy. He knows that, if it gets pinned on him, he's going to be next on the Lannisters list.
Right. Which let me know immediately.
Somebody was flipping.
If I'm being honest, I wasn't quite sure how far a lot of things were going to go with Jaime because Jaime has a lot of reverence of his own. And people are rightfully scared of him.
Yeah, but not without a hand anymore.
True. Very true. But I like how even Brienne was kind of like, my guy, like, do you know who you are?
Yeah.
Or maybe you're not who they say you are. Because I don't think, it's my sword hand. Is it? Because when another sword's coming at you and you're trying to save your life, I don't think you're going to be worried about which hand you're using.
Unfortunately, it really is a sword hand.
I know. Yeah. Pretty sure he's going to get cut the F up later.
Jaime is definitely not going to be the swordsman he once was.
Right. All the mess he was talking earlier, man.
Of course.
No more, sir. No more. Mr. Superman.
Yeah. So Roose Bolton basically tells them to get cleaned up, and he's like, all right, put them in a decent, bed and let them have a bath and all of that. And that's one of my favorite scenes is when they're sitting in the bath together, and you kind of like you get the story from Jaime's perspective about why he killed the Mad King, and why
awesome.
Yeah, which is a really great, like a humanizing moment for Jaime, because all you hear about him and pretty much the way he displays himself is just this pompous asshole, that deserves all of the hate. Deserves all the hate for what he did. But when it comes down to it, he's right. Like, would you follow through on the orders to kill thousands of innocent people
and your father
and your own family? Like, no, you wouldn't. You would. You would do the same thing I did, which one is it? Mercy to allow these innocent people to die, or to put a knife through that guy's back, So
I think he did the right thing as far as that story. And that was the moment where I was like, but that was the moment where I legitimately 100% was thinking to myself, oh shoot, he has a soft spot for Brienne.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
because he really was opening up. I don't even think Cersei knows that much.
Cersei wouldn't even give a shit.
No, that's my point.
Cersei
doesn't let him get that story out.
Yeah, Cersei doesn't want the mushy Jaime. Cersei wants the badass lion Jaime. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why are we talking about
that?
I had 3 jokes that I just couldn't say because of the relationship. That's just terrible.
So what ends up happening is that Roose Bolton makes a deal with Jaime to send him back to King's Landing safely, and but the snag is that Brienne is not going to be going with him,
and he don't like that.
And he does not like that. He doesn't like the idea of it because he knows what's going to happen to Brienne when he leaves is basically all of the things that he was trying to protect her and prevent from the whole journey. So. He gets a little bit outside of where the Dreadfort is, I guess. I'm going to call it the Dreadfort. I don't know if that's it, but he gets a little bit outside, and he gets his conscience starts to nag him a little bit. And he basically leverages his convoy to turn back and go get Brienne. And
once again with the slick words,
just by talking.
Hey, these guys should have been rappers. Like, they just have the slickest things to say. The whole Lannister family, they could have been the illest rap family. They could have been Jackson 5 of hip hop for real.
Yeah, they got some bars for sure. But yeah, so he returns back to the Dreadfort to find that Brienne is in a fighting pit with a grizzly bear, while they're all singing the bear, and the maiden fair, and. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. She takes a little bit of a punishment from the bear. Luckily, Jaime is there to save her at the final moments where she is safe, and that's when they hit the road again. They're back on the road together.
Now, I want to say when they opened in with her fighting the bear, no joke, the first thought in my head was, if you see me fighting the bear, don't help me, help the bear. I thought that was what was about to happen with Brienne because it's Brienne.
She was just gonna kill the bear.
But yeah, I didn't know how. I had no clue as to how it was going to happen and which direction she was going to go with it. But I felt like there was going to be a point in which Brienne was just, she was going to find a weapon or somebody was going to toss down a sword or something. But instead,
she had a sword.
Oh, not the wood. That wooden sword don't count.
Yeah, that's true.
The cereal Pharrell sword for real.
Yeah.
No, sir. That sword didn't even work against a blade. Let's go on a bear.
Fair enough.
But for Jaime to jump down, I'm sorry. Listen. I don't like when they've been so realistic this entire series. Like everyone we've lost, everyone we've kept, everything. It's just been perfect. For the one-armed guy to jump into the pit and miraculously save the woman who is in a dress and not used to being in a dress, but used to moving in armor, but the dress was clearly weighing her down and she couldn't really move as swift as she would like at first, but now she's able to climb an entire wall.
Yeah, I wouldn't get hung up in the logistics of getting out of the fighting pit. I'm sure people helped them up, but
people helped them up, but you get my point. Like that was one of the most, so far for me, this entire series, that was one of those moments where it was like, you guys put a lot of work into a lot of stuff. This is where you drop the ball.
Yeah. So sometimes they just glance over things.
They brought themselves into a hole.
Yeah. And then Jaime finally makes it to King's Landing. So they do end where Jaime is finally back in King's Landing, right?
Right. Jaime gets to King's Landing. We don't know what happens with Brienne. We do know they clearly parted ways. He walks in on Cersei. They lock eyes, and she kind of has that like, oh my God, I'm looking at a ghost. And that is the last we see of Jaime.
Yes.
So from Jaime and Brienne, now I know I said we were going to go Theon. Yeah, let's do Theon, then we'll get back to Cersei.
Yeah, we'll do all the King's Landing characters in one.
Okay, cool deal. So Theon Greyjoy.
Yeah. That's not his name anymore.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, at the beginning, he's not.
Yes,
he's not Rick till
that's true. That's
till
true.
At the end. So he does come back as Theon.
Yeah.
And listen, before we find out where he is, which I don't care. Okay, now we know where he is. I'm a little more afraid for him now that I know where he is and who he's with.
Yeah.
Because Papa's nuts.
Yeah. The son is worse, man.
The son, listen, this is how I see that kid. He is the recluse child. He's the child that was forced to stay home, forced to not have friends, but he was given all the toys inside the house. He's Richie Rich.
And he is a bastard too. So he never.
I didn't know he was a bastard.
Yeah. So
they do keep calling him a bastard. Yeah.
He's Ramsay Snow, so he's a bastard as well, and so he's Roose Bolton's bastard. Yeah.
So Snow is like the surname for all bastards.
All bastards in the north are named Snow. All bastards in the Riverlands are named Rivers. Then you have like King's Landing. I think it's something. It's Storm. I think you call
whatever Gendry's surname was.
Yeah, Storm. And then over in like Dorne, you call them. Their last name would be Sand. So each region has like a different last name for the bastards. Yeah.
So it's the bastard from this region, and bastard from wow.
Yeah. So the Ramsay's from the north, so he's a snow bastard as well.
Snow bastard.
Yeah.
He was cold as same. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. So Theon basically, we know that he's been captured at the beginning, right? And
so we know Theon is still captured, still being tortured. I think this actually was the first or second episode of season 2 where Theon was released and recaptured.
Yes. Yeah. Ramsay, being the psychopath that he is, decides to pretend like he's Theon's savior, and he sneaks Theon out of his own castle and then tries to send him out into the woods because Ramsay loves hunting humans. And so basically that was just a whole ruse to get Ramsay or just to have a little bit of entertainment.
A little fun. And killed 6 of his own guys because of it.
Yeah. And it's so funny because like the last guy he kills just looks at him and he's like, you little bastard. because he knew who Ramsey was, and he's like,
Mhm.
"You just killed me, man! Like
For what?
I'm one of your soldiers, like And it was all to just keep up a charade that that he's helping Theon, and he's oh man,
You gotta have some fun, man. Get in where you fit in. Get in where you fit in. I don't support his actions by any means necessary.
oh boy, and those are
By
some
any means.
actions, man.
But Theon. So he's there. So I didn't get, you torture him, you do all this weirdo, you peel his fingernails, you peel his finger apart. Yeah, he just tortured the crap out of Theon.
And that's actually, just so you know, that is part of the Boltons' MO. So their sigil is the upside down flayed man. So it's a man on one of those crosses with his skin removed. And that was the Boltons that's how they used to kill their enemies. They would put them on one of those crosses and then peel their skin off. That was outlawed by Eddard Stark. But now that Eddard Stark is gone, they can start playing
back to having fun.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah, so that's the Boltons thing. They like to peel people's skin off.
Skin pillar. All right. Wow.
So basically, Theon spends most of season 3 attached to that damn cross thing.
Right. About to be skinned like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah, just being slowly tortured by Ramsey. And right. I think by far the worst, is him sending in those girls to seduce Theon. Yeah.
Only to castrate him?
Yeah, remove everything. I think they got rid of everything.
They gave him a clean shave like a Ken doll.
Yeah, which is messed up because Theon at the beginning was very reluctant. He thought it was a trick right from the get-go.
Right.
And they didn't they didn't give up the act until he finally thought that they're like, oh, maybe this is okay.
Right.
And as soon as that happened, that's when Ramsey's blowing that horn, and man.
Torture the poor kid, man.
Oh, he's a psychopath, dude.
So from there, Ramsey is nuts, but I like him.
Yeah, he's a great villain.
I like him.
Very good.
I like him against Theon because Theon is a shit friend.
Yeah.
And I just didn't like the way he flipped on Robb and the fam. I understand.
And technically, what Ramsey's doing right now is a solid for Robb and the Starks. He's technically holding Theon because Theon betrayed the Starks.
See,
well, that's how it started.
I know, right? I know that's what they say because that's the reason he has him.
Mm-hmm.
But I figure, no matter what else was happening, he just needs somebody to torture.
Oh, he would be doing it to somebody else.
To somebody, it just happens to be Theon. That's all.
Yeah.
And so from there, that's pretty much it with Theon. And then so Theon's father is pretty much giving an order like, yo, hey, get all your people out of our area, and you can have your kid back, or we'll kill him and anyone else left.
Well, they actually send his penis to his father.
And so here's the thing. I saw that they sent a box with something in it.
Yeah.
I did not see what was in it.
They basically said, get all of the Greyjoys out of the north, or we will send you your son piece by piece. So that was like, we'll give you more.
Piece number one.
We'll give you piece number 1 now, and if you want piece number 2, then just keep your people in our area. And if you want them to live, then you want to make sure that you don't come back to the north. But Yara doesn't listen to that at all.
Of course not. That's my brother.
Yeah.
She's going to get her brother. She's straight like, hey, daddy,
right.
daddy, look, daddy, let's go get him. Daddy's like,
I'm going to stay here.
Daddy's like, I gave him up when he was a kid. You think I'm going to get him now?
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, I figured that. I was like, that's what I thought. I was immediately like, his dad does not care, bro. You guys are tripping.
Yeah.
You guys are wilding out if you think he cares. And they were
I mean, Yara is more of a son for him anyways. So
true.
It's
she's the son he always wanted.
Yeah, she's the commander of his armies and all of his ships and all of that stuff. So I mean, whatever.
But
Yeah, that's Theon. That's pretty much all Theon's got going for him right now.
Right. Two side people before we, and this starts King's Landing. So Shay. Shay. I love three people then. I love how Shay is playing her position, but still giving Tyrion like a really hard time, like behind closed door, like, yo, bro. But at the exact same time, like, come on.
She's a liability, man.
No, like legit. It's like at the same time, like, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
She was given an out. She didn't take her out.
Yeah.
I respect it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I respect it. I don't like it.
Well, especially now that Tywin's back in King's Landing.
That's why I don't like
it. You shouldn't be sticking around.
You should be getting out of there fast.
Yeah.
Fast. And you were given adequate pay, like, get out of here now.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's pretty much it with Shay. But she's playing her position.
Yeah, she's just a handmaiden to Sansa still.
Correct. She was just a handmaiden to Sansa. Then you have Bran, who kind of just disappeared after the Tyrion wedding. We'll get there.
Bronn.
Oh, right. Not Bran. Bronn. Bronn just kind of disappeared. What happened to Bronn?
He gets a castle for being in the Blackwater, I think.
Oh, how did I miss that?
It's a very
like
small,
a one-liner.
Yeah, it's a very small one-liner thing. Yeah.
Okay. And then we cannot move into King's Landing without beginning with Pod the Rod.
Yeah. He's just making all the ladies swoon, huh?
Right. So I thought it was pretty dope that Podrick is gifted a bevy of women, like 5 women, as gift and payment for saving Tyrion's life.
Yes,
and Tyrion's like
Blackwater, yeah.
Right. And so Tyrion's just like, yo, have your fill, pays on me. Boom, dropped a big old bag of, gold coins for the girls.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Pod comes back a little bit later, and they gave the money back. Because Pod has that rod, and Pod is that rod. And he does something, but nothing that they can describe.
Yeah, it's more to just be a joke, like that he's just very good at sex.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, is he abnormally sized? No. Does he do something special with his mouth? No.
Who knows?
So why?
We'll let you decide.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's dope because he's like that little pudgy, shy kid now. It's like everywhere he goes is like
now he's a stud. Yeah. All the girls know who Pod is.
Yeah. Right. Every girl knows who Pod the Rod. Yeah. And that's why I had to give him the name Pod the Rod. Like young Padawan.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a great character. I definitely enjoyed that scene where Bronn and Tyrion were like, all right, come sit down. We need all of the details.
I was thinking the same thing because I was like, wait, you did. All right, somebody pull up a chair.
Yeah.
And as soon as I said, all right, they have to ask him what he did. It's like, no, clear. Here's a chair. Sit.
Yeah. We got to figure this out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then for it to be a discussion even later amongst Varys and Rosalind.
Oh yes. Uh-huh.
Poor Rosalind.
Oof, she gets done dirty, man.
Poor Rosalind. But she doesn't. She got the life she asked for.
Yeah, that's true. She did decide to be Littlefinger's right hand lady, and
she 1000% right.
Littlefinger's a fucking monster, man.
Listen, if you think Littlefinger wouldn't kill his mother for a bowl of Cheerios and fresh milk, he will.
Mm-hmm.
And a fresh cup of water, me flavored water.
Oh yeah. He's ruthless, man. But yeah, so King's Landing, we got. I guess we can kind of lump. I don't know. I mean, there's just so many characters. So I'm like, all right, what's Joffrey doing? Joffrey's being a dick and being a brat, and kind of frustrated that Tywin's in now, and basically sort of Tywin's not taking his shit, but he's also with Marjorie now, and Marjorie is kind of trying to do this sort of like sneaky like way of getting him on her side so that maybe she can tame him a little bit,
right, and figure him out a little,
and try to keep him from being a total monster by like using her cunning and sort of like her skill to woo men in order to kind of like get him to be a better king, maybe. I think
Right.
that's what she's trying to do.
I wouldn't say necessarily be a better king, but at least to gain enough trust to where his first thought isn't to kill her.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Or to at least torture her the way.
Yes.
He likes to see people squirm.
Yeah.
He likes to see other people uncomfortable, and her whole thing is make him think she likes it too.
Yes.
Don't show him any discomfort. No.
Right.
And what I'll give the Tyrells is they have people down to a study.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It is very clear.
They know how to fit in. Yeah.
Right. And even when I like here thinking of they're from the high garden, it's like this is the place of the herbs and the best plants and the wheats and the fields. Of course, the psychedelics and the mind altering drugs would be there as well. This is the high garden, pun intended at that point.
Yeah.
And so I thought about those things too. And it's like, whom else but your herbalist community to birth and give wind to someone of that nature as one of their leaders.
Yeah. Well, and well then, yeah, you also meet Olenna Tyrell, right? The Granny, which is a great character.
She's awesome.
Oh yeah, she's very good.
She's another one that could have been a ghostwriter for some rapper.
Yes. Does she and Tywin meet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Her and Tywin actually have a sit down.
I like that scene a lot.
Yeah, they have a sit down.
The last thing she says to him is, "It's such a rare thing that that a man actually lives up to his reputation."
Right. Embrace his fame.
Yeah, that's what she says to Tywin. I really like that exchange with them because they like both know that like they're both very, like
well adept.
And intimidating characters. They're both very powerful, intimidating characters, and so to see them kind of sit down and like feel each other out is pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
And so let's think. Joffrey. So for the most part, Joffrey's kind of in the mix.
And a dick. And
he's being a dick. He doesn't really come up until the wedding of Sansa and Tyrion, which is kind of where all of this really gets going.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So Sansa is basically, now that she's off the hook for marrying Joffrey, the consensus is, and Tywin sort of sets this all up, is that Tyrion is going to marry Sansa, and Cersei is going to marry Loras, which is Marjorie's brother.
Right.
Yes.
Which is, to me, is just crazy. Well, it's not crazy, but it's like, why not? Oh, never mind. Nope, I understand why not. Because now the Tyrells would have the stake to the Stark name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't want the Tyrells to marry off with Sansa because then they would have the Reach and also the North.
Right.
And that would be too much power. So, Tywin being Tywin's like, all right, well, I'm just marrying my 2 children off and then we'll consolidate all the power.
That's right. Because look, this ain't Monopoly. I can't just come back and buy it from you later.
Right. Yeah.
But this is the Game of Thrones. You're going to pay with bloodshed, sir.
Yeah. And of course, Cersei's not happy about this. She's very upset that she has to marry Loras. And Tyrion, for what it's worth, he's very upset that he has to marry Sansa because Sansa is a child, a 13-year-old girl. And his nasty father is like, you better put a baby in her the night of. Like,
listen here, Game of Thrones creators. I've been waiting to get to this. I've been waiting, brother. Right. And I don't like it. Like, look, you guys got to knock it off. Like season 4 and 8, right? 4 through 8.
Yeah.
Y'all got to knock it off.
Yeah.
It was mentioned season 1, season 2. I'm like, okay, they're kids. You guys keep talking about season 3. Come on, Game of Thrones. I don't care. I know it's already done. It's already in stone. There's a lot of people who already know how far this is going. Stop.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. It's like it was already uncomfortable when she was going to marry another kid, But
who kept talking about raping her.
Yeah. But now she's like, now she has to marry a man, like a grown man, and thankfully
he's like in his 40s.
Yeah, thankfully Tyrion has a good heart, and he would never want to do that to Sansa anyway, so he's not going to. Which is why he's my favorite character. Yeah, so they have their wedding, and Tyrion gets really drunk because he's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be married to this little girl. I don't like that my father is making me do this, and I certainly don't want to have sex with her. Yeah, and so like, he gets so drunk that he basically passes out on the wedding night in order to kind of like make sure that nothing could happen because he's just so drunk, because he probably didn't want like, fucking handmaidens coming in and being like, have you done it yet? You know,
right.
I mean, like, geez Louise.
Do you need our help, sir?
Yeah.
We'll get you to the brink.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, luckily Tyrion is a good guy and Sansa didn't have to go through that. So
right. Something else about Tyrion and just his interactions through season 3, he was already kind of putting Joffrey in check, but he's over Joffrey now.
Oh yeah,
like he's so far past Joffrey. He never liked the way Joffrey was treating Sansa.
Yeah,
and now that at this point, it sucks to say it this way, but Sansa is his wife. It's like, nah, you're not gonna be disrespecting her no more.
Yeah,
you could kill that now.
Well, now he has an excuse to defend her honor too. So
exactly.
Like, you can't talk to her about her like that.
I talk to whoever I want. I'm the king. I think the king's tired.
Yeah, give him milk of the poppy.
I'm not tired.
I love Tywin, man.
And it was just funny. So, like when Tyrion goes, and we're gonna explain that full season.
That's such a grandpa thing,
right? But what happened after Tyrion goes? I mean, you did just send the king to bed without his dinner, like. But I love that. Tywin and Joffrey, Tyrion and Joffrey. Like, I think that is what Tywin will not admit. What he loves about Tyrion is Tyrion ain't afraid of him.
Yeah.
Including Tywin. He's like, I'm not afraid of you.
Yeah.
Like, I could care less. The only thing he can ever say to hurt his feelings is, I want to say this. I know we're not really on Tyrion or Tywin, but I'm going to say this and I might say it again. Can they not have Tyrion ask Tywin one more damn time about how he feels about him or about anything regarding them being family other than hi dad and walk away? Like, I'm tired of, I don't want to see that. It hurts me.
Yeah.
It hurts me.
Yeah. Tyrion doesn't like Tyrion and Tyrion's not very much of a fan of his father anyway. So
clearly. Yeah. And I bet you we see why. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
How many times do you have to tell your kid that you don't want them or that they were the worst thing that ever happened and then still tell them, oh, but you're my kid though?
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, I'll make sure that you're saved and nobody has. See, this is his mentality, Tywin's like, no, it's like that, like that sibling sort of thing. The only person that can make fun of my little brother is me. It's like, so the only person that can make fun of my son and hate my son is me. Nobody else is allowed to hate him because he's still a Lannister.
Right. Which was proven at the wedding when Joffrey, so this is taking us back to Joffrey and things that Joffrey did. So it was when Joffrey removes the step stool. I thought it was funny, but it was still like, could somebody else have done it?
Such a dick move, man.
I would have laughed a lot harder if somebody else did it. But when Joffrey did it, it was like, I don't want to champion this on. Even subconsciously, I don't want to champion this on.
We hate you so much, Joffrey.
We hate you so much, Joffrey. We hate you.
Yes.
And so when he took it, I was even like, yo.
It's so cold, man. Jeez Louise.
And it's like everybody was, even Tywin kind of had like, oh, dang, that was cold. But when people in the crowd started to snicker, it was like, wait, hold up.
Yeah, y'all shouldn't be laughing.
And everybody.
Yeah, whoops.
Hit you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And of course,
I guess we can kind of continue with Tyrion then, since we're kind of already talking about him and
right. So I want to wrap Joffrey. So we go from Joffrey being a jerk to Sansa and threatening to have the guards hold her down so that he can have his way with her, to then approaching her and telling her how she just wanted to has to have a baby by a Lannister. So you're admitting you're a Lannister now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh. That's what I was saying earlier about that. Like, oh, wait, so now you're a Lannister? And then it was him killing Ross.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I get why she had to die. I totally get why she had to die. Yeah. I don't get why he had to do it.
Oh, he was looking for people to kill.
Oh, he popped his cherry pot finally, basically?
Yeah, and so, like, that whole Littlefinger scene with Varys, where Littlefinger explains, like, I figured out that you're using Rosalind to get information
Right.
about me.
Yeah.
And she stopped giving me any pleasure, and I don't get any pleasure out of her. Luckily, I have a client that has a certain taste.
Yeah.
And that was Joffrey. So basically, Joffrey was looking for somebody to kill, and Littlefinger's like, "Hey, man,
got one for you.
I got somebody you can kill. Here you go. Just remember me. You owe me."
Yeah. And so something else Joffrey did, and this will take us directly into Tyrion, which was pushing the betting ceremony.
Yeah.
Like, you nasty little bro.
Prima nocta. Yeah.
Just that kid couldn't get in. Well, I'm not gonna say that. He's definitely the worst.
Yeah.
But of course, by way of that, Tyrion speaks up. He basically threatens him again, but this time he threatens him in front of everybody, not just in front of the small council.
Yeah.
And it's like, bruh. But that's when Tywin kind of confused me, because he is who he is, and he has that ability, that cunning ability. As I said earlier a little bit, all of the Lannisters have bars, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it's like Tyrion might say some slick stuff, but Tywin, man, listen, he been doing this thing longer than Big Daddy Kane. That man, he say things, and you're like, wait, did he just?
Yeah.
Carry the one. Damn, I guess he is right. I didn't know that. Yeah. I thought that was really cool. So he came to Tyrion's aid, so to speak, and saved him, and by kind of just playing it off in jest, like, oh, it was a joke.
Your
uncle's kind of drunk.
Yeah, exactly. Your uncle's drunk. Don't mind him. He's, yeah.
And which again, screwing the 15-year-old's head over, because he's like, I'm the king.
Yeah. Any man who has to say that they're a king is no king. Yeah.
Facts.
Yep.
So and Tyrion. So to Tyrion. As we said, he was forced to marry Sansa. He's being constantly disrespected by his father. But I think he's starting to get through to Cersei, where Cersei thought she was kind of untouchable. It's like, nah, bro, we are pawns in this man's game, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, they kind of have a good moment together where they're kind of both lamenting their new marriage arrangements, and they're like, damn, like that's probably like one of the few times where they actually have a moment where they actually feel like they're sisters. Yeah, like they're siblings, like they're both bitching about their dad and how crazy he is, and
right?
He's the worst, like
right.
So,
do you think Cersei's gonna try to kill Loras? Have Loras killed?
That's a good question.
I don't think that there's any other way for her to get out of that.
The thing is like Cersei right now is like she's starting to spiral because she's losing all of her control mechanisms, right? So like she's, now that Tywin's in King's Landing, like he's in charge and she's back to being a pawn. She's not the queen regent anymore. Like she has to listen to her father, and she hates that. You're his daughter. She does not want to listen. She doesn't want to marry Loras. So, I think that whole thing will resolve itself in the future.
I'm sure. That looks like a ticking time bomb waiting to implode. Not explode, but implode. Right. And it's all going to, I 1000%, I am of the belief, as we're going from Tyrion, I don't think there's much about Tyrion other than what we've said. We can go to Tywin. Yeah. I think Joffrey is gonna. Okay, we found out that Joffrey was the one who put the hit out on Tyrion.
Yes.
I don't think he's gonna try to kill Tyrion again, but I think he may make the mistake of trying to kill his grandfather.
That would be a terrible mistake.
But I think it's a mistake he will make.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how far Tywin will go when he gets wind of it, but I think that's a mistake he is going to make. I'm not sure how far he will go with it. He might just bring it up to the wrong guard, and the guard be like, all right, listen here, little lad. Yeah. That's not a good idea. Why is that not a good idea? Because that ain't somebody that I can kill.
Yeah. Well, Tywin's definitely untouchable.
Tywin still does his own killing.
Yeah, he's not afraid of any kings or anything like that. So
right.
Okay, so we've done Tywin, we've done Jamie, or we've done Tyrion, we've done
Tyrion, Jamie,
Joffrey.
Joffrey.
Marjorie is kind of just along with
She's
Joffrey
there.
right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's basically becoming like Princess Diana a little bit,
Oh
where
yeah.
like
Dynasty.
she's doing all the charity work, and she's going
Very
to
well
the
put.
orphanage, and she's trying to make herself look like, and she's smart. She's doing is she's winning over the hearts and minds of
The
the
people.
people.
Yep.
And I think that's interesting because it juxtaposed what happened in the last season where Joffrey got attacked in King's Landing.
Right now they're chanting his name and loving him.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. And so there's a moment where they're in the Sept of Baelor, and Marjorie's like, well, go address your people. And she takes Joffrey out to go see the people who are cheering for him. And Cersei's right there, and she sees and that's when I think she realizes oh, that's another thing she's losing control of. She doesn't have control of her son anymore because now she's got, he's got a girl that is basically grooming him to be at least a decent king.
Yeah. And in the eyes of other people at minimum.
Right. And now he's no longer going to listen to his mother. He's going to listen to his wife to be, So, yeah.
So let's see.
So I think we got who else is in King's Landing before we wrap up? Because we really only have the big character, Jon and Daenerys. But yeah.
Let's think. So wait, Jon and Daenerys are left. The Lannisters, Cersei, Jamie. We've pretty much even covered Tywin because Tywin was just kind of in the mix with everyone else and how that went. Damn, we've even talked about Samwell Tarly.
Yeah, so there's nobody else in King's Landing at this point, right?
No, that will be it for King's Landing. And from there, we can go to I guess from there we go to Robb Stark, then to Jon Snow and Daenerys.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
And that's
Robb Stark.
Goddamn Robb Stark. Robert Stark. Bobby.
Yeah, had to go and mess up your deal. Yeah,
anybody with the name Bobby, they're gonna do something wrong when it comes to contracts. Like, damn it, Bobby, damn.
Come on, man. You got tempted by Una Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter. Come on.
Listen, okay, so Robb Stark, we know he got married. He broke his deal with Walter Frey, and this entire season is pretty much just him trying to figure out.
He's L's over and over and over.
Continuous again. L's, small L's, big L's. From the moment Jamie was released by his mother, it's been nothing but downhill. Yep. And now you've wronged Walter Frey, and you've decided after looking at the map and going through some things, oh snap, we still need Walter Frey. You don't say. Right. Because here's a conversation that you didn't have, Robb Stark, that Walter Frey had, and you didn't. Hey, when they leave us and they do that,
they gotta come back. Yep.
He better do right. Okay, cool. We all right.
We got an insurance policy.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was already in the back of his head, like, yo, if you mess up, bro, you gotta come back.
Yep.
At that point, everything is set up. They get the agreement. The agreement is what you're going to do is you're going to come back. You're going to apologize. Your uncle is going to marry my daughter now. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, we could work that out. Uncle's not feeling it.
No, of course not. He saw the daughters.
So sorry. Yeah. So like, yeah, bro, nah. And they're all kids.
Yeah, of course. Right. Exactly.
So then you turn around and everything, they have their discussion and he makes Robb apologize in person, and Robb apologizes in person, not to him, but to his daughters, rightfully so. I thought that was the right thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
They accept.
Yes.
He calls out the daughter that the uncle is going to marry, and the uncle kind of like, oh, wait.
I love this too, because that is such a Walder Frey thing to do.
1000%.
He trotted out all the not good looking daughters to Rob, and then he didn't fail to mention that he had a couple good looking daughters.
I kept thinking that. I was like, he has too many daughters. There are definitely a couple of attractive ones, some hot ones, so to speak.
Yeah.
That are just tucked away. It's like, nah, let me see what kind of character you got.
Yeah.
Let me see what kind of loyalty. Because he made a statement. And I was waiting for this to come full circle. And if you ask me, it came full circle when Rob broke his agreement. Which was, do you have the heart of your father or the heart of your grandfather who already broke a promise to me? You see how that goes? And his grandfather had already broken a promise to him. And I think that's what it was contingent on. Are you your father or are you your grandfather? And he showed he was more his grandfather.
Right.
So Walder Frey, you know, they get the marriage going. Now, here's the thing about Lord Bolton. As I said a little earlier, I wasn't damn surprised by Lord Bolton.
Well, shout outs to Edmure Tully for you know, bagging a decent looking wife and you know, at least having a little bit of fun, right?
Just a little bit.
I mean, he was so unhappy about that marriage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was enjoying himself.
As soon as he saw the girl, he's like, "Oh, what?
Oh, hey,
this is okay."
He looked like a little kid playing football.
Yeah.
I mean, kickball.
Yeah.
So it's the wind blowing. All right.
I'll take it.
Home run.
Yeah.
Home run. Back up. So, yeah, it was a good party. They were getting it on. Everything was going well.
Yeah.
Until, again, for me, the betting ceremony.
Yeah.
And then, because that was when I was kind of on the fence. Like, I wonder how young his wife is, because they never said how young she was. And I was like, maybe she just has a young face.
She still looks pretty young. Yeah.
And I was like, maybe she just has a young face. And then they had the betting ceremony when they were carrying her. And I was like, she looks like she's Sansa's age.
Yeah.
Ew. Game of Thrones. Ew.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's true. It's a little disturbing, but I'd like to think that she was probably around 19 or 20, maybe.
Not wrong with that.
Let's just do that in our heads. The actress definitely was.
The actress. That's what I'm saying. The actress. I'm wrong with that.
Yeah.
I've been in South Carolina. I've met 40-year-olds that look like they're 16.
Right. So the betting ceremony happens, and this is like Catelyn Stark kind of notices, like, oh, they just shut the door and they locked it. That's weird. All right, that's strange. Whatever.
I didn't like her reaction to that, because it wasn't just that. She saw it was something else she saw. You saw her eyes moving.
Yes.
She could feel the energy was off.
Yes.
She saw the way certain people were sitting, and she was just observing certain things. Like, it was very off to her. She's been to enough weddings in her lifetime. Yeah,
it was weird how the hall kind of emptied out everybody but, you know, like Rob, his people. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then once the door was closed, and it was like, wait. Then you notice even so that was the betting ceremony was the exit cue.
Yes. And
you notice the only person of their group that was no longer there was the uncle, who had just gotten married, because he was off. And I don't think he got to have any fun. I think he got sent straight to a dungeon.
Yeah, unfortunately, that did happen. Yeah. But then you get the soundtrack. The soundtrack plays, and you know, a fun fact: the band that's playing up in the rafters, that's Coldplay.
Really?
Yeah. Like I think all three of them got to play. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Coldplay
on the string quartet.
Yeah, they're playing a song called "The Rains of Castamere."
Is that one of their songs?
No, it's a Lannister song. So that do 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 do.
Oh, which is why her face looked like that.
Yep, because that's the Lannister theme song, and basically the lore behind that song is that the Rains were the Lannisters' rivals, and it's a story about how the Lannisters slaughtered all the Rains. Yeah, and
the story Cersei told.
Yes, the story Cersei told. Yeah,
and now that makes sense. Oh, also, so let's sidebar to that. So there was a point with Cersei and Marjorie where she tells her the story of when Tywin had what family was it again?
The Rains. The
Rain family killed because they had wronged them. They were the second most powerful or second richest family, and they tried to overtake the Lannisters.
Yes.
And that is what Nick is referencing. I thought that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But let's talk about back to the wedding
Yes.
And the murder. So is this what they call the Red Wedding?
The Red Wedding. Yep.
Not as bad as I thought it would have been. I thought it would have been a little gorier.
Yeah, I mean,
the way everybody listen. The
look,
Red Wedding.
when it first came out, it was a
crazy. Okay,
big deal.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I expected the Red Wedding to have like blood flowing out the door and junk.
Right,
I feel like that happens. I feel like I've anyway. So what I disliked, but I understood. Like, yo, we really just gonna stab the baby though?
Yeah.
We only like, oh, and then Walter Frey, listen, he's a cold boy.
Ooh, I hate him.
He's a cold boy. He stood up like he was like,
yeah.
Yeah. Tell your daddy I said hi when you get to hell.
Yeah, the Lannisters send their regards.
Right. And it's like, geez, man. So, like I said, Lord Bolton, I just wasn't surprised by that.
Yeah, so Catelyn realizes something wrong when she sits next to Roose Bolton, and she realizes that his arm looks a little bulky.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, he looks like he's got something under that tunic, and so he lifts up, Roose's sleeve and finds out he's wearing chainmail. And that's when she was like, "Oh shit!" Yep. And that's when all hell breaks loose, and basically all the Frey people start stabbing Robb and all of his people.
Stabbing? You mean barraging them with arrows?
Well, that too. They shot the band.
The band
shot them with arrows, and then started stabbing his wife and slitting throats and stuff. And man, Catelyn went out hard.
Yeah,
she went out hard, man.
She went out. She had her very last resort. Saw the daughter or the wife and was like,
"Yeah,
balls to the walls, man. That's all I got left."
With me. She's coming with me. Yeah,
like, it's all I and what. Yo, Robb, get up, get out.
Yeah,
Robb.
Man,
Robb's like dead. Mother. And she turns.
Yep.
Who's that? Roose Bolton gets him.
The Lannisters send their regards.
Yeah, and she's like, "That's your wife, sir."
Yep.
And she just stand there waiting, like
wait for somebody to slit her throat. Yep.
Now, and keeping in mind that in her mind, her sons are dead, her daughters are dead. It's
her whole family's
her dead. Left to her.
Yeah, yeah. Her whole family's dead.
And well, of course, except for Jon Snow, which I do want to talk about. She hated herself, though. I love that she told that story about Jon Snow, how she hated him so much she prayed for his death. And when the gods granted her wish, she prayed for his life.
Yeah.
And then broke her promise to the gods. And that to her explains why everything that happened with her family happened. But you kept championing your family on to do these things that put them in harm's way.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, lady, come on, call it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Robb Stark's no more. They parade his head around. That was why Arya stopped and killed the guy. For those who watched the series or are following with us and just trying to figure out, like, so what happened? When Arya jumped off the horse and she goes to kill the guy, it was because he was talking about being a part of the party, as I said before, that cut Robb's head off and then cut off his dog's name was Midnight. Greywind. Where the heck did I get Midnight? But cut off Greywind's head and stuck it on Robb's body.
Yeah.
And then they paraded that around the town.
Pretty rough.
Listen, if anybody from PETA's listening, y'all could have definitely. I would have supported y'all if y'all got mad over this episode.
Yeah,
that episode right there where they killed Greywind and then stuck the head on the body.
Yeah, I'm never a fan of when they killed the direwolves. That's
ever because they never killed. Like, listen, they can't, I guess, but they have never killed one direwolf in fair combat. Not one.
Yeah,
they've all been killed unfairly. It's like, come on, like if they're so big and so bad, like at least let them thrive.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so we got done with Robb. Unfortunately, that is the end of Robb Stark. As the end of Catelyn Tully, and now we talk about. I know.
I wasn't gonna say it, but I had to say it. I didn't cry on camera when you guys saw me, but when I initially saw that, I didn't know what was gonna happen next.
It's rough, man. But all the consequences, all the writing on the wall was there. We knew
for sure. Yeah.
You know, he made the bad decision, man. And he's just kept making bad decisions.
And I was actually kind of wondering how long Rob was gonna make it. I'm not gonna lie. I kept wondering, like, okay, how is Rob gonna die? It's coming soon.
Yeah.
I honestly, though, I did expect him to make it through this season. I expected him to die like season 4, season 5. But let me explain. So before we move forward with our last two characters, the reason I expected Rob to make it a little further is I expected the war to go on a little longer. Yeah. And what I expected to happen was Rob and Stannis to have to come face to face,
right?
Like real life face to face, and it not come to war, but it come to an understanding that you're fighting for the Throne of Swords, or the throne, the Game of Thrones,
Iron Throne,
the Iron Throne. Thank you. You're fighting for the Iron Throne. I'm fighting for the North.
Yeah,
you know, and Stannis is reasonable enough to like. We could fight along. Now, don't be wrong. I believe Melisandre would have convinced him to flip on him later and roast their ass alive.
Yeah.
But on the surface, Melisandre would have been like, we could use him.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And if I'm being honest, because I just want to see the Lannisters die the same way the Starks just did.
I know. But that is the theme of Game of Thrones. Yeah. Sometimes the people that you want to die don't die.
Right. And Arya said it the best when Joffrey goes off to war, you know, the worst ones always make it back.
Yeah.
Worst ones always make it back.
Yeah.
So from there we go. I'm gonna leave her last. So from there, I think we are always ending with her, and it's the perfect place to last.
It's good to end with Jon and Daenerys because they're kind of the main characters.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And listen, you don't have to confirm or anything.
Okay,
I know. Jon is gonna be a warg that can jump in the head of dragons as well, and the reason it's gonna be he is Daenerys' cousin somehow. Or sorry guys, I just thought of this one. Guys, these are all off the cuff.
We're theory crafting here.
They're so hard. What if they're brother and sister?
Oh, that's an interesting theory.
I'm not sure how though. Never mind, I just figured out how, because he's a bastard. He doesn't know who his mom is. So the reason Ned would have been so secretive is because his baby mom is a Targaryen or a Lannister.
Well,
I'm looking at your face reaction.
I will not give you anything. All I will say is you will find out who Jon Snow's mother is at some point. Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yes. Okay. I won't say anything further than that, but you will know at some point.
Nice. And I just want to make it clear, this is what gave me that theory. Sorry guys, I wish on my eyelashes. I got plenty of them. What gave me that theory was once we find out Bran is a warg, and he is the son of Ned Stark. Now that doesn't mean he doesn't get it from Catelyn's side, because it's probable. But I thought about that, and then I think about all of the kids having their connection, as I said, much earlier in season 1 with our reviews.
Yeah.
And I just started thinking, like, okay, what other animals are out there? Because Ghost it seems like Ghost has given up his connection with him.
Yeah.
It almost seems like Ghost is kind of like, hey, bro, you ain't moving like no more. And real recognize real, you looking real unfamiliar.
Yeah.
So, that's what I'm getting off. What I got off of Ghost when Ghost kind of like jetted on him. It was like Ghost knew something was different, and I just thought to myself, like, what else has come across with any type of animals or anything being close to the family? Like we know, like this family is this and this family is this, but these are the only two families that we've seen physically interact with the sigil of their house.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
And that's how I came to that theory, guys. I was sitting around thinking about the show, and I was like, I wonder where this is going, but I didn't want to, start watching too far ahead.
Of course. Well, and there's definitely a lot of theories out there. I would refrain from.
Oh, I don't Google anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't look. I wouldn't look into it. I would just, enjoy the ride because it is a good ride.
I do my best to not even look at because I watch it on my phone and stuff. So you know how the algorithms. I'll jump on YouTube and it's like season so and so recap, and it's like
you can't believe that this just happened.
Yeah, and I'm like, do not show.
right.
Not interested.
Totally. Okay, so let's get through John because John is kind of almost pretty much where we left him, and then makes it back to Castle Black. And most of that is him building a relationship with the wildlings and becoming a kind of infiltrating Mance Raider's camp. So you finally get to meet Mance Raider, the king of Beyond the Wall. And, you know, like they have an exchange. I like that with Tormund, where John thinks Tormund is the king beyond the wall. He's like,
kneels to him.
Yeah.
That's what I kneel every time I fart.
Yeah, exactly. Tormund's the best. I love that character.
I thought he was a really good character, but too easily persuaded. But that's like
yes, yeah, he is. But so he basically joins the ranks of Mance Raider. Mance Raider tells John that since most of the Rangers were out beyond the wall, according to John, because that's what he told Mance Raider, is that there's a ranging party. This will be a great time for them to try to attack Castle Black and try to get past the wall.
Right.
So Mance Raider decides that he's going to send a small contingency to climb the wall to get over it. So that way, when they're ready to wage their war on Castle Black, they'll have a little army that can get from the other side and flank them. Yeah, and get inside the castle and help them out. So that's kind of where John is tasked, and then he kind of develops this relationship with Ygritte, obviously. Ygritte. And you know, they have their little like romance, and they have their little cave sex thing, and what else? I mean, you know, then I mean, like it's just, you know, it's the love story stuff.
And that's really all that was. It was a whole love story.
Yeah.
It's really weird to say that there's not a lot to Jon Snow, but there was I feel like every scene with Jon Snow, there was a lot of information packed into each scene, but the information was more like things you had to be watching going on around him. Things he was doing, like things like that. Yeah,
things just kind of happen to John.
And this season like, for sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way he always is, where it's just like happens to him and he has to just respond to them. He doesn't have a whole lot of personality as a character, to be honest.
Sure.
But, you know, like he's still a decent guy. He still tries to do his best. And, you know, like I like him and Ygritte. I think that they're kind of good together. I think there's something that I think that he regrets being a Night's Watch person. Like
when he didn't know what he was getting into.
And that's what Benjen said to him, you know, at the beginning. He was like, you know, let me join the Night's Watch. He's like, I don't think you understand what you'd be giving up, you know, and it's like, you'd be giving up that. You'll be giving up love. You'll be giving up relationships. You'll be giving up your life, basically. Yeah. And John's got a taste of life now. So, I mean, like, you know, I don't know how thrilled he is about going back to being a Castle Black man.
Those 3 holes in his body show he's experienced real love.
That's true.
But before we get to the 3 holes in his body, so what I thought was crazy was the wall climb.
Yes, that was very cool.
Amazing scene. You know me, so those shots like that Mission Impossible shot. Not a big fan.
Oh yeah.
But jeez, that was crazy. Like, first off, it's the build up to it, and everybody kind of like, yo, giving them the tips. Like, yo, this ain't the time for joking.
Yeah.
We giving you the real life, real deal. Stick your metal in the ice. Make sure it's solid before you move.
Yep.
If you fall, don't scream.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, just,
good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. Just
pretty much. So they make it. They make the climb and almost die, obviously, because you got to do that once. You know, whenever you're doing something dangerous, you have to always die, or almost die. Yeah,
definitely have to always almost die.
Always almost die. Yes. But they luckily make it to the top in one piece, and that's when we get back to the tower scene with like Bran and
Georgian and
like where they're in the tower basically.
Yeah, that's where right after that's when we move into the tower with the thunder scene. And so when Bran wargs into the wolf's mind, so while they're outside and they're and Jon and the wildlings are harassing the horse breeder, and they're having Jon kill the horse breeder to prove he's one of them. And that's really when everything goes bad for Jon.
Yes.
At the same time as that is when Bran jumps into the wolf's head, wargs into the wolf's mind and sees Jon. So he immediately takes the wolf and starts helping Jon.
Right.
And I wasn't sure. Did the wolf get killed?
No.
I only saw one wolf when they left, and I didn't see the other.
Maybe because
maybe he went with Jon.
Well, Osha and Rickon left by then, right?
Right, you're correct. You are correct. So when they parted
Shaggy
ways,
Dog is with Rickon.
Right. Okay. Right. Because Shaggy Dog is Rickon's dog, and Summer. What is it? Summer Breeze. Summertime. Oh, it's just Summer. Okay.
Yeah.
Is with Bran. So from there,
Jon can't kill the horse farmer.
Right. He can't kill the horse farmer, and this is where I was saying Tormund is just too easily persuaded, because the warg that's a wildling, he's just mad that. First off, he knows that Jon's a warg, and he won't tell Jon, and Jon hasn't really had any experiences with it yet, so Jon has no clue of what he is capable of. And I only know that because of his bloodline. I'm not saying that because anything's happened to prove that Jon also has the ability, but I am almost sure he has the ability. It's just it would make too much sense. I mean, it wouldn't make enough sense. No, wait, let me find the right wording for that. It would not make any sense at all if he did not have some type of an ability. And that's why I'm thinking his ability may have something to do with the dragons. And that's why he hasn't had any experiences yet. But I digress. So Jon has to get away now. What I thought was crazy was, so it's like, oh, he's not one of us. First off, he didn't say he wasn't going to kill the horse guy, even though he clearly wasn't. But he didn't say he wasn't going to kill him. His woman kind of, if you ask me, Ygritte just stepped out of line. Like, she was out of place. She got tired of them reaming him and kind of pushing him. And she was like, fine, I'll do it. And it's like, wait, no, you can't do that.
Right.
That's off the book. So by the time she did that, I think that's what pushed Tormund and the warg over, because it was like, wait, that means that he ain't got it in him to be one of us. And that he never in his heart changed to be one of us. Right. And that's why old boy said, I told you he's a crow, and that's his whore crow wife, because that was the clear sign that she saw the same thing he saw.
Well, let's
shows her side.
Let's also be fair. That Orell guy was just he was just jealous because he wanted
jealous.
He just wanted Ygritte for himself.
Very jealous, but he wasn't wrong.
No, he wasn't wrong.
Very jealous, but he wasn't. And that's kind of my point is, he was jealous, but he wasn't wrong. And by her taking the kill for Jon, that was all he needed to see. Not necessarily Jon not making the kill. Like, okay, Jon didn't want to kill him, but you've seen Jon kill. So it's not that Jon won't kill. Maybe Jon just doesn't like killing innocents. You know what I mean? But it was the fact that, no, Jon won't carry out an order.
Right.
He's not taking orders from us. So I think that's what turned them. But I think Tormund would have been willing to see past that had Orell not been all in his ear, spit licking and freestyling, like, the DJ not playing his own country.
So Jon gets 3 arrows from Ygritte as a goodbye gift, and he makes it back to Castle Black, right? Yeah,
I was just like, that's real love. That's real love, because those weren't kill shots. She tried to immobilize that dude.
But she also told him, if you ever mess with him,
I'll kill you.
Yeah. So so he gets back to Castle Black, and then that's kind of it, right? That's like he's not doing anything else right now.
He doesn't even know that the kids were there or anything.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So he's just got back to Castle Black.
Yeah. He got back to Castle Black. He saw Pip and Sam and pretty much passed out, and then they carried him into the worm. So that's it.
That's it for Jon. That's it for Jon for now. Yeah.
And now we get on to our
the last but not least,
the last two walk. And for those who saw this, yes, we passed up the beheading of the car Stark. Yes, we passed up all of that commotion because
we'll be here for 8 hours if we go through everything. Honestly,
and yeah, I just had to bring that up because that was a huge moment. But everything that happened after that with Rob kind of superseded that. So,
yeah, I kind of lumped that in with all of the bad mistakes he made. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like beheading
I thought we were saying the same thing.
When beheading the car Stark was a bad mistake. He shouldn't have done that. And you know, like that was just on top of other things, on top of other things, and then that's what
That was the unforgivable. Everything else he did was slightly forgivable. That was the unforgivable.
Yeah, he shouldn't have done that.
So Daenerys Stormborn of Old Blood Valyria, the last of the Targaryens, mother of the dragons, freer of the slaves. And what other name does she have now?
Too many names.
You saw where I was going with this, right?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, lady. First you were just Daenerys Targaryen.
Yeah.
Now you're Daenerys Targaryen of Old Valyria. Now you're Daenerys Target. Like, all right, listen. Hey, Linda, listen.
Queen of the Andals, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons. Yeah.
I mean, it's cute.
But it's not.
It's
not.
It's not at all.
Yeah. Well, and this is kind of like the change in Daenerys, right? So like Daenerys is now no longer a victim to anybody.
Right.
And she is going to be the liberator of Essos, basically. Right. That's what she decides this season, sort of. But the first place she goes is Yunkai, I believe, or is it Astapor? I can never tell. I forget which one is which. But she goes to get the Unsullied soldiers.
Right. I want to say this as we're moving into her getting the Unsullied soldiers and how she went forward with that. Is she only saving places that are filled with people of color?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't wrong when I saw that. Okay. Listen.
It's a little bit.
I know what you're gonna say. It's a little diverse. And here's why I'm with you saying that this is the question I have. Yeah. Would you say that Esteros is the Middle East or Asia?
I kind of think of Essos as a mixture.
Or excuse me, Africa or Asia.
I would say, like, to me, like Essos is a mixture of Africa, the Middle East, and Asia combined, like all one big
Middle East
land.
Pretty much Africa.
Well, the Middle East is Asia. It's literally Asia. So
is it Asia?
Yeah, Middle East is in Asia. It's
okay.
West,
so we're
West
so
Asia.
Okay. So I'm settled as Asia.
Yeah.
I would say that with geography, guys. Yeah. Sorry.
I mean, you could think of like like parts of the Middle East and parts of Africa, parts of Asia. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that ending scene where she's in a sea of people of color and she's the only white woman, that was a little bit on
in the middle of the eyeball.
Yeah.
I was like, so is it an eyeball or a hurricane?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. Yeah.
It was a great shot, though.
It was a very, very pretty shot. Yeah.
Thank the Lord for drone shots. And that was literally okay. Seriously. So watch. Here's the thing before we finish, because we'll finish up Daenerys. That shot, that drone shot, I am aware that there weren't a lot of those type of shots before that.
Yeah, not. Yeah, I mean that was probably what 2013. 13.
And 2012 is kind of around the time they really started with drones.
Yeah.
Not giving too much up about, all that other crap I'll do and be around. But I want to say the first time I saw it on paper, like a permit for it, or, like where, you got to get through the processing for it to be done in films, might have been around 2012. For me. Yeah. That doesn't mean it wasn't done in 1994.
Right.
But I mean, like, by the time it became a common thing is what I'm kind of getting at. Like, I don't think it was common until it became common right in this time gap.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting. I could do a little more homework on that, but I thought that was really interesting. Just like, I was very curious. Like, I don't think there's a lot of those high drone type shots because there wasn't really drones being used like that.
Right.
And, I've done a little bit of looking into drones being used in film before, and I believe it was something around there, like 2012, when it really picked up popularity.
For sure. So Daenerys needs to build an army, and she decides, with the help of Jorah, to recruit the Unsullied, which is a army of elite soldiers that are trained as eunuchs and slaves. Basically, they're slaves, and they're castrated so that they don't have any desire except for following their
murder and death.
Murder and death. Yeah, pretty much. So she goes to negotiate the price for the Unsullied, and the master of the Unsullied is this, crass dude, being an asshole, speaking in Valyrian because he thinks she can't speak it, and of course she can, and she's just kind of playing along and pretending.
I figured that too, because he was being way too disrespectful, and it was like, all right, she has to be able to understand this.
Oh yeah, she speaks Valyrian, so she knows.
Of old Valeria.
Yeah, I know, right?
Nobody listens.
Nobody listens. But yeah, so she kind of plots, and she's doing her thing, and she tells the master, like, okay, I you know what? I'll give you a dragon for all of your Unsullied.
Yeah.
And she gets a little bit of clapback from Jorah and Barristan, and they're like, dude, don't do that. Like that's a terrible idea. And then she's like, don't question me in front of other people.
Man,
basically.
Listen.
Yeah.
I thought she was about to have one of them chopped up, bro. I was sitting there like, what are y'all doing?
Right.
Street code violated.
Yeah. And so she goes through with the deal, and she gets the scepter for the Unsullied. She also takes the master's translator, Missandei. So now Missandei is going to be kind of like the, handmaiden to Daenerys. Right. But she negotiates the ownership of the Unsullied. She gets the scepter and basically tells the Unsullied, all right, look, you guys are from now on can be free, or you can fight for me, basically. And it's your choice. And the Unsullied basically, or she before she even says that, I think she tells them to kill the masters. So she has the Unsullied kill all their masters.
And after they watch her have the head dude roasted alive. Right.
Yeah, Drogon burns them to a crisp. A little trick you learned in last season.
Right, yeah. Is that the name of the dragon, Drogon?
Drogon, yeah.
Drogon the dragon.
Yeah.
What's the other two dragons' names? I gotta know.
Viserys and Rhaegar. Or Rhaegal.
I'm gonna say Rhaegar. Wasn't that the name of one of the?
Yeah, she named them after her brothers and Drogo. So Drogo is Drogon. Then she's got Viserys, which is Viserys.
Viserys, right.
And then she's got Rhaegal, which is
Rhaegar.
No, the dragon's name's Rhaegal, and then her brother was named Rhaegar. Yes. Uh-huh.
That was the one who was the great warrior.
Right. That Barristan Selmy talks about. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that would be her dad then.
No, it was her brother. It was her
brother.
Her older brother. Yeah.
But Barristan served her dad.
Yes, Barristan Selmy was under the Mad King. Yeah.
Oh, also, so really quick on Barristan Selmy, when he came into the picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was that tried to assassinate or kill her?
So that was like a spy for the Warlocks from season 2. So that was one of like the Warlock spies that was trying to get her back, and they used a manticore, which is like a scorpion thing that has poison. They're basically trying to
knock her out.
Yeah, they were basically trying to capture her again, probably because the Warlocks want her to stay in the House of the Undying. So
there are still Warlocks left.
Yeah, apparently they're still around. I guess. Yeah. So the Unsullied decide that they want to fight for Daenerys now.
Yeah.
And she just basically goes on a tour. She's going on a tour of Essos. She's going to all the major cities, and she's going to free every slave in the cities. And
it's crazy to me because it's like she's traveling in a band
Yeah.
So it's like she's collecting followers as like a deity, right? Like a savior of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, she's on this conquest like a conqueror.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And make no mistake, and I think that that's what they kind of do interestingly, is like you root for Daenerys, but she did nail people to crosses. She nailed all of those people to crosses, you know?
She's a conqueror as much as anyone else. So I think here's the
Right.
thing with Daenerys' character for me. And I don't think there's really much more to add past what we've already said about her taking her world tour and just kind of taking crap over as it goes.
Yeah.
And having also being slick with the tongue like the Lannisters, saying the right things rather than saying, oh, I freed you. Like, no, you're the only person that can free yourself. Now, if you choose to free yourself and you choose to follow me, then so be it. But if not, hey, live your life.
Ahead. Yeah.
You know, YOLO, so to speak.
Right.
And for a bunch of people who ain't never been given nothing, of course, they're going to stay with the person who says you can do what you want to.
Yeah, they don't have a family. They have nowhere to go. They have
It's
nothing.
Not even
so of course
reverse psychology. It's basic psychology.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem like she's being super magnanimous, but all of those Unsullied dudes have literally nowhere to go and no money. And
basic psychology. Hey, look, you ain't got nowhere to go. You can go on about nothing, but you can come with me.
Now, had she had said, I will give you like a bag of gold and
you
like,
can go. Oh, some people would have said
go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Listen, I'd have been the first one.
I would have too. I'd have been like, yeah, I'll take it.
Lord.
Misa.
So, yeah, at first I didn't. I was like, Misa. I was like, I only speak English. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. I don't speak Valerian. Sorry.
So, yeah, it was just that with Daenerys, the whole, like you said, she has this urge, this desire to conquer and control all things.
Yes.
And there was, I'm trying to think. I can't really think of anything else beyond that.
She meets the second sons. The second sons join her as well.
Wasn't really impressed with that.
I know,
yes, the second sons do join her. I just wasn't impressed with that. And if I'm being honest, the reason I wasn't really impressed or I wasn't really affected by that in any way is, another murderer. Yeah. Oh, a murderer with morals. One of those had to come up eventually.
Morals? No, he doesn't even have morals. He went against his freaking.
You're right. Yeah. He doesn't have morals. He's selfish as shit.
Yeah. Like he just basically is like, you're so beautiful. I murdered my friends for you.
For your beauty.
Yeah.
Because when he's like, at first I was like, yeah, they did him real dirt. They must have like really came at him. So he goes, oh, it's your beauty. I really did this.
Yeah.
What?
Come on, man. For real? How much simping can you do? You
touched her hand and she's kind of like, oh, he doesn't want to have sex with slaves.
Right.
Because he likes to have sex with queens.
Of course.
You haven't been in the game long enough, Daenerys.
You haven't met Salvador Sand yet.
Oh, God, you haven't met Salvador Sand. So
I want to find the queen and I want to fuck him.
Man. Hot. Yeah, but no, and that's the whole point for me with Daenerys. It just I started getting to a point where I'm loving her character. I'm loving where she's going with everything. Yeah. The way she's accrued so much, even so much so to where when they got to the town and, she's basically being offered like gold and ships to leave and
get
just
out.
Bother nobody.
Hey, nobody wants none with her. They're like, just leave. Get out of here. We don't want you here.
They're like, listen, we see what you about. We see what you got.
Yeah.
We don't even want to fight you.
You've already destroyed 2 cities. Let's make sure that this one isn't one of the ones you destroyed. Yeah, you can have all of our stuff. Please just leave.
Look, and you started all of this by yourself, ass naked in the bathtub with your brother talking nasty mess to you about how he's going to let thousands of men take advantage of you. And now you have pretty much taken over this entire continent.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Please leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please.
You did it. You did it. You have your army. You're ready to go.
It's one of these. You want some more? No.
I'm good.
Man, listen, go on over there across the street. Here, I got some money in my pocket, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead across the street. Go ahead, get what you want. Get what you want. Get your mama something. Get your brother something.
And don't come
Okay,
back.
and right. And this here is so that you don't remember where I'm at.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
say, oh, that side of the street.
Yep.
And that's really how they were treating Daenerys, but she wasn't for it because she knows they have slaves. And what I do like about Daenerys' character, and that's why I had to ask, is she only freeing countries that are filled with people of color? Because every time she gets to a city that is filled with people, they are slaves.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that Essos has a lot of slavery still. Westeros has slavery as well, but they
And
just
that's why I was trying to really figure out the difference
I
between
guess
the
it's like
fact that you see more
indentured
colored people.
servitude versus slavery, basically. Because like in Westeros, you have kind of like more indentured servitude. Like you have to go join the Night's Watch, or you got to go serve a house or whatever. But
like OSHA situation,
exactly. Or a Theon situation.
Yeah, Theon, exactly.
Yeah. But like in Essos, it's like legit. You are
Slavery.
a slave. Yeah.
Like, come here, cattle or chattel. Not even cattle, it'd be chattel at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucked up, man.
Sometimes
so
I don't need to know too much about history because it like makes stuff like this just
it's awful. Yeah. But I mean, good on Daenerys. I mean, I think it's interesting that she's decided like I could go back to Westeros now, but there are a lot of people that are suffering and maybe I can help them.
Right.
You know. And for what it's worth, it is a noble aim to say, okay, I can hold off from being the queen right now if I can liberate a couple more cities.
Right. Well, but the reason she's doing it is so that when she does get to Westeros, which now consider this, she now has 208,000 soldiers or people she needs to move across the water to Westeros now.
Oh yeah. She has way too many people. She has like whatever Dothrakis she has left. I know that there's like 14,000 or 20,000.
Right, because she still has a bunch of Dothrakis. They're not even really with her at this very moment. So she has to get them. Excuse me. And so a question I had came to mind about Daenerys. Will there be more than 3 dragons? And you don't have to answer that because I came to the conclusion there will not be more than 3 dragons. Here's how I came to that conclusion. They were talking about Aerys Targaryen and how many dragons he had when he took over everything, and how that's magic. And this is when Davos and Stannis were having their second discussion about using magic. And he's like, look, when they came the first time and killed my people, they came with dragons. That's magic.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that again. So I'm using the magic or all arms that are acceptable, viable.
Yeah, everything
accessible.
Accessible
by me. And so from there, we're going back to the dragons, and that's when Davos. They're like, oh, well, he had 3 dragons. It only took 3 dragons to rule all 7 kingdoms. Like she got 3.
Oh yeah,
he only had 3.
She's set. She's set. Yeah,
right. And that's why I was like, that's why everybody's really so afraid. Because one, the dragons are growing way faster than they really thought they would.
Oh yeah.
You realize it's only been a year.
Yeah, maybe even less. I don't know.
No, they said about a year.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly which episode, but it was something that was said, and it was like 1 year ago. Oh, it was Daenerys, in fact, when she goes, a few months ago, I didn't have any follow. I didn't have any people. I didn't have any soldiers. And a year ago, I didn't have any dragons. And I was like, oh, damn. So the dragons are only a year old.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense then. Yeah.
And I was like, all right, Daenerys.
Yeah. Well, what else? Anything else on Daenerys? I feel like that was kind of her major beats, like that was the major thing she's doing right now. She's liberating another city. Right. It seems like she's going to continue that path for season 5 or 4. I mean, 4. Yeah.
I think Daenerys' weakness is about to come out. She is a little gullible and arrogant. Realistically, so in her arrogance, because it comes from a real place. Like she's a hurt person who is trying to free hurt people.
Right.
And we all say hurt people. Right now, she's a healed person, and healed people also heal people. So There is some upside to Daenerys, but I am wondering how long before the shit starts to roll downhill.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair question. I mean it's a fine line. I think one of the sayings was, I think it was Varys who said it. It's like they said something like, when a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin, and basically it's either it's a 50-50 shot of whether they're going to be completely crazy or they're going to be like, a decent person. Because Targaryens intermarry and they're incestuous. So there's a lot of mental illness in that family because they're a family of incest. They would marry brother and sister all the time. So yeah. So
I don't even want to know how that correlates with the dragons, or if that's
right. But yeah, so I think that's good for Daenerys. Before we wrap up, I think that we need a little bit of Keilyn prediction here for season 4. I don't know if you have a lot of predictions, but a few predictions for what you think season 4 is going to hold.
Season 4. No Robb Stark. No more Miss Chaplin. I don't know. I was really excited to see where their storyline was going. So to find out that I don't have that to look forward to, that really bothered me. Yeah. Well, not bothered me, but it changed my vision for the future.
It's funny because within a couple more seasons, you'll be like, Rob who?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure by like episode 3, I'll be like,
yeah.
I'm really excited to see what happens with Bran and Georgian and Mira.
Right.
Now I'm just waiting to find out when we find out who John's mama is, but I feel like that's coming up because I don't think you would have told me too far in advance.
Well, I mean,
never mind. Now I'm about to be sitting.
I can't say anything.
Happens in season 8, doesn't it?
No.
It's the last episode of. Never mind.
Yeah. The very last scene of the series.
Everybody's saying I'm the king on the throne.
Oh, by the way, mother. Yeah, exactly.
Daenerys, how old are you?
Right.
What if they're twins? Stop.
That's all right. You can theory craft, but I don't think.
I just thought about her age, and I thought about John's age. I'm like, wait, he's only like 17. Wait, she's only like 6.
Yeah, in the book, she's only 13. Yeah, which makes your whole yeah. Don't read the books if you're offended by the age discrepancy.
Yeah,
I know. It's crazy.
What was what my predictions
for season 4? Anything?
I didn't predict getting that information.
Right. I know.
So prediction. Yeah, so I think Bran, I'm really interested to see where that goes. I don't really have any predictions for it. Like, I have a theory about what the three-eyed raven is, but I think I've had about 3 different theories for the three-eyed raven at this point, so I don't want to share any more of those.
All right. That's fair.
I am excited for Arya.
Same.
I am excited for Arya. I think she's finally with the one person who can show her the difference between caring about something and knowing what to care about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she cares about all the things happening and, this is right, this is wrong. No. There are certain things you should care about, and there are certain things that are going to get you killed.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's going to be the main lesson. And then I'm curious to know also, who does she end up with after that? Because I think she's going to end up with someone else by the end of this season. She's not going to start the season with the Hound and end the season with the Hound.
Right.
And she won't end up with her parents or her brother. She might end up with John. Maybe she'll end up with John and Ygritte, and she has a new sister or something.
Right. Yeah.
But John has to fix that. John has to make that up.
Yes, he does.
And I know he will.
I
know he will. My question is how, and who else will be inside of Ygritte? Yes. I'm curious. How far will she go with her heartbreak? Damn it! I want to know.
Yeah.
Because she's heartbroken, rightfully so.
Oh yeah.
And if she saw him again and he didn't see her, I expect her to shoot him with another damn arrow. Jerk.
Probably.
You don't leave someone you just told I love you, and then you see them again, and I love you, but I gotta go. She should have shot you in the face.
Jerry. That's fair. It's fair.
At least she waited till he was like 10 yards away.
That's true. She did wait. She gave him a courtesy.
She gave him what we call that when we was kids, give you a 5-second head start.
That's right. Yeah.
She waited till he got to 3. She only got to 3, and then she.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we got to make sure you hit him a few times. All right, man. Well, I think that's probably a good way to wrap it up.
Wait, I do have one more.
Oh yeah, go for it.
One more.
Yes.
Tyrion Tywin.
I
don't care about Joffrey right now. I don't care about Cersei right now. I feel bad for Jaime. I know, but I feel bad for Jaime because Tyrion and Tywin are about to tear this dude a whole new one because he's a whole different person. He has to now fall into the new line of succession. And guess what, buddy? You're not number 2 anymore. Because if you thought the imp got it bad, you think the disabled dude's going to get it any better?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was my last one. I wanted to make sure I throw that out because I'm aware of the times we're in. And if Tyrion's getting it the way Tyrion's getting it, I do not expect Jaime to get any lighthearted, put her there, pal. I don't expect nothing like that. I expect some real, like, you ain't my kid. My kid can do this. My kid can do that. Can you do this? Hey, sign this for me.
Yeah.
I expect him to get a lot of that, especially from Dad.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, we will have to wait and see.
And be loverless. That's why we end up with Brienne, but that's another.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Well, you'll have to wait and see, and I look forward to you watching season 4. I like season 4 a lot too. I think that's a pretty good season.
Okay, cool.
So I think you're gonna have a lot of fun watching that one. There's definitely more Arya. There's definitely more Hound. So that's nice. But yeah, that was fun, man. Thanks. That was really cool. And thank you guys for listening. That was almost 3 hours. So if you hung out with us, thank you so much. If you are going to listen to this in the future, thank you so much for listening. And we hope you had a little bit of fun listening to our take on the season 3 recap of Game of Thrones. And next week, we will be recapping episode 3 and 4 of WandaVision. So we will be taking a week to get caught up with all the Game of Thrones stuff. We'll be doing WandaVision next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. So please stay tuned for that. Again, Keilyn's got If Numbers Could Talk on Tuesdays at 6 p.m.
Yes, indeed.
I got Exofathom on Monday and Friday, 8 p.m. So if you guys enjoy what we do, please consider looking at our other stuff. But if not, if this is your only thing, if this is the only podcast you listen to, then we're totally happy with that. And we definitely appreciate you. And thank you so much, you guys, for listening. And we hope you have a wonderful night. Keilyn, you got anything before we leave?
Take care of yourself, those around you. With everything going on, guys, you guys know I gotta say some honest, real stuff. Just be safe. Be safe. Don't take anything for granted. If you honestly love someone, just tell them you love them. If you honestly need some space, just be honest. And thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, make good decisions out there, people. And thank you for tuning in. And we'll catch you on the next Screen Time Continuum. Good night.